phasing on them. I'm live now, babe. And we are live. Welcome. You alright?
Yep, you right?
Got your whiskey?
I got gin and tonic today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I need to segue into something different because this, the spiced rum and Coke with lime in it is lovely. But I need to drop the Coke somehow. And I don't think spiced rum on its own is like drinking whiskey on its own. So I need to practice this whiskey drinking with you sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe just next time we do music, I'll get a cab back and see if I can jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
On the bandwagon, the bandwagon. Yeah. Way mind slip. I love it when I do that. When you say things the wrong way. You only ever change the first letters. Do you ever do that?
No.
Oh, just me. Like the buyer brigade.
So the best thing to do with alcohol, I find, is having alcohol at home is make sure you've got a variety. You need some
pick and mix.
Yeah, you need like I haven't dabbled into rum yet, but I think that might be next on the list. Rum. What else is there that I haven't touched? That's a spirit.
You haven't done much of rum.
I haven't done any rum.
Vodka, that's like trash.
Oh, yeah, no point getting vodka.
Sambucas. Tequila's good. I love a tequila.
Tequila's all right.
Tequila's a good one on a night out. Tequila, like, what is it? Can't even remember the order now. It's been so long. Salt. So you lick the salt, you drink the drink, and then you squeeze you squeeze the lemon, or you put the lemon in your mouth.
Yeah.
Always good fun. Funny you speak of having a selection, because on a lot of viewings or when I was looking on houses online, you'd find like the conservatory has been like changed into a bar.
Yeah.
And I admit having booze in the house, like having a selection, sounds nice. But whenever I see the bar, I'm like, you got something going on there, haven't you?
Yeah, what's going on here?
You got a little relationship with alcohol that you're that you're proud of, but also, you want to come over? I've got a bar here. Yeah, of course you have. Of course you have. There was a great sketch that I saw, which is where you have the family member who's like basically an alcoholic, but you don't admit it. And every Christmas you're like, oh, here's a bottle of whiskey, but they swapped it for like a heroin addict. So they're all sat around the Christmas tree, and like the mum's like, oh, just a little bag of crack, just and he's like, oh, thanks, just what I wanted. And the next one was like, well, this guy didn't have crack, so I've just got you a little bag of Coke. And then everyone looked at him just like, doesn't like Coke.
Yeah.
It's quite good. The Mitchell and Webb look, if anyone wants to see it. Same guys who do the Peep Show, only they're unchained from having to do a storyline. So it's loads of comedy sketches. Very good. And I think the Mitchell and Webb actors will also come up in a topic I'll be bringing up later. But yeah, I've got my drink. You've got your drink. I'm ready. If you're ready, then there's only one thing left.
Cue the bloody music.
What
episode is this?
16, it's you.
Welcome back to the Just Swim podcast, the show entirely devoted to furthering the human mind and the human species as one.
We don't sound very devoted like with an intro like that, do we?
What's my name?
My name's Tim and my name's Woody. Jesus. Episode 16, chaps. He can't even remember his lines. Can you imagine if he was in a play or something like that?
Could you imagine what I'd be like if I had a job? Oh, wait.
You do. Best thing when you're on stage is when you do forget your lines. That's a really good one. Like last episode where I said to you, I said to you, you said you did the intro well, and I was like, yeah, well, I didn't know I did. It just kind of came out. But sometimes you'll be on stage and like
Thinking
you're
about
in your head,
remembering
you're
lines,
like
but
in
you
your head,
do
you're like,
remember the lines.
I've forgotten the lines. I've forgotten the lines. I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. The telephone rings, and then you answer it. My lines are bloody blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you've got no idea what the fuck your lines are before that, and it's
Right.
like this moment of just like, yeah, there's fucking hundreds of people, thousands,
Jesus,
millions. Careful. And oh, sorry, am I doing the old clip?
Yeah, it's all right.
So glorious to be back. We've launched the Discord and we've got a solid 3 members already, which includes me, Woody, and my second Discord account.
No, Sartran joined.
He did?
He did, yeah.
What?
We haven't messaged him.
Oh, tragic. I need to set notifications on. Hi, guys. There you go. You can reply now. A live podcast reply. Let me just quickly reply. We are just recording episode 16, in which this message will feature. Have a great evening. Well, don't know what time it is. Have a great life. Yeah, we'll get back to you. We'll get the topics flying in there. Welcome aboard, Tram. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but I promise you the bumps will be filled with wisdom, gratitude, gratuity, and joy. So have you got some topics to bring today? Because I've got some, but mine are always better than yours, so we might as well get yours out of the way first.
Oh, jeez. I honestly didn't bring much.
So we're recording this on a Sunday, and that's because yesterday we were speaking, and I was about to say something, but I can't actually remember what the topics were that we've pre-ran our normal podcast structure to discuss. Do you remember anything? I know I had the feedback on makeup in the workplace from Vicky.
Well,
was there anything else?
There was 2 topics. There was one topic that Sartran said that we missed, that we forgot to talk about.
I've got that on the list.
Then there's the one that he recently posted on the...
I've also got that on the list, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I guess we were just jibbery jar about that. As we do.
What you was talking about with Brad and Vicky at the pub.
All right, well, it looks like I'll just have to go into my topic bag then, considering it's a full list of topics brought to the podcast by yours truly, Tim. So when you do listen to this, if you ever say prayers to the Lord or anything afterwards, a sort of thankful prayer for the podcast existing, just remember to put most of your prayers towards my side of the podcast, because I come with topics.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll
do
start
have
with
a topic.
Oh, you do. So I just had to push the buttons, did I?
Well, not really. It's just a bit of news, really.
Yeah. A little bit,
which has always been interesting. Well, there's 2 things.
One second. Wait.
Okay.
Welcome to the news show.
Tech news with Woody,
and we're live.
So there's 2 things. One of them I find is really fun. It's a bit of crypto news. So there's a company, I can't remember their name, but they mostly been known for building ASIC miners. Which ASIC stands for Application Specific Integrated Circuit.
And a miner is something like a graphics card that you use the computational power to mine cryptocurrency by solving algorithms that only a genius little chip can solve. Continue.
Right. So an ASIC is specific, as it says, is application specific. So it's better than a graphics card, because a graphics card is kind of it's like kind of general purpose these days. An ASIC is all it does is knows how to mine Bitcoin, unlock cryptographic hashes. But anyway, usually Ethereum is mined with GPU because it's not it's not as easy to build an ASIC, or it's not as easy to build a better ASIC than a GPU could do. However, this company that normally builds ASIC miners, I think they're called Ant miners, for Bitcoin, have announced that they've made an Ant miner for Ethereum. Now, you know for sure that this product is going to cost a lot of money. It can do... So the best GPU at the moment does like, I think someone with a RTX 3080 managed to get like, I think it was like 20 mega hashes or something per second.
Mega hashes.
This Antminer supposedly can do like an order of magnitude bigger than that. So 20 gigahashes, which is like crazy. So it's like
big promises.
Having 1,000 graphics cards, basically 3080 graphics cards. Now, I would love to see. I'm waiting for the news that some big mining pool has bought a load of them, because I know for a fact that if they do buy them, they have just wasted a load of money. Because hopefully by the end of this year,
it's going to proof of stake.
It's going to proof of stake.
Yeah, so you don't even need a mining chip.
You don't even need a miner.
Because proof of stake for people in the crypto world is very much what it sounds, but proof of staking your own Ethereum against the network to prove the validation rather than to solve a equation that a card needs. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time for ETH. I am a super bull on ETH. I see a lot of people on Twitter, like every so often I'll chime into the crypto Twitter world, and a lot of the tweets I see are just like some pretty big names. Like one of them I was looking at today, which is like, he was just saying, so the amount of Bitcoin supplied every second through mining or other things is this, and ETH is about to move to around 10% of that. The supply is going to become deflationary. Don't fuck with me until it's at 10k, I think he said. And he's like, and don't come saying that I didn't tell you, because it will be at 10k. And I'm sitting there just like, I have got the pirate's treasure. I've got Davy Jones' locker. But the only thing is this week I've been looking at buying a new car, getting ready for the new house, getting ready to move to the country. Can't have my shit little Proton Savvy. My Proton Savvy is the top car used in Malaysia, but it's very much a wanky woo-woos car to be driving around in the UK, especially when you're a family person, because it's like a little hatchback that's got enough room for about my legs and that only. So I've been looking at upsizing, and obviously instead of upsizing a little bit, I've been looking at a little Range Rover. Now, a Range Rover is made by Land Rover, and they're fucking huge. And I've always seen them on the road and hated them, because I hate the Hutton Mount Mums, Essex celebrities driving them around and driving like dickheads, taking up the whole road. But I've found a little Reddit and a YouTube for people who are religious fanatics for specific Land Rover cars, slightly older ones, especially for their durability, endurance, and just in general it being a lovely car to own. So I've been looking at these cars, and I feel like I can't really buy one yet, even though I kind of want to, because I need to get all the house sorted first. But I thought, I'll just message him and just say, do you accept cryptocurrency? I messaged 5 people and 3 of them came back saying, yeah, which coin? I was like,
no way.
I felt like replying back. I was like, calm down. Stop trying to steal my fucking crypto. Jesus. But so I could buy this car for around 4.8 Ethereum.
That's not bad.
Which would be...
I would fucking do that. I would buy one now.
Which would be... I'd have another fair few, like 22 left, and I wouldn't have to sit there and worry. I just don't know about, like, does that come out of my capital gains allowance if I realise that into a car? I've got no idea. Maybe I'm just sending it to a different address. There's so many blurred lines in this crypto world.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think he would have to pay the capital gains on it, really.
Maybe. Let's just fucking shun it towards him. But then again, if it's going to go to 10k, I'm paying 50 grand for that car. That's worth 7. Do you know what I mean?
You're not.
I know I'm not, but I am, because that car's not going to be worth 50 grand in 5 years' time.
Right.
So it's kind of like I'm playing this balance card. Every month I think about selling. I check in on it. It's gone up by another $5,000, and I'm just like, well,
what you could do is you could sell them the idea that you'll pay them 1 ETH and tell them that, well, look, in a couple of months' time, it will be 10K.
In a couple of months' time, it's going to be worth fucking loads, mate. You trust me. I'll send you 1 ETH now. You don't have to fucking worry about it, mate. You'll be sorted. You'll be a millionaire. I mean, I'm going to need like 1 Ethereum to drive this car to the freaking corner shop because it's going to be doing like 20 miles per gallon. But yeah, I've sent it to you already. It's quite a sexy little car. You've probably just skipped over it like all the other things I send you. Because that's the bitch relationship that we have. I'm on the bitch side, but
to be honest, I looked at it and I thought, why is he going to buy a fucking second-hand Land Rover?
Oh wait, but the thing is most of them have done 150k in mileage, and this has only done 77.
Well,
77.
It's 2004.
That's got another 20 miles left before it breaks down.
Yeah, what's this miles per gallon? What's this MPG?
But it's either that or I'm going to be ending up buying like a Kia. Do you know what I mean?
What's wrong? You need to find don't stop looking at brands. Look at practicality.
No. I'm not looking at the brands. I'm not looking at the brands here. If the Kia had everything the Land Rover had, and if you watch this blog of Sam, whoever he is, type in Sam Land Rover Rogue UK on YouTube, and watch this series of this guy who has bought this car. He bought it for $6,000, and he said, just so you know, I'm going to have to put about $1.5 work into it as soon as it gets over to me. But he's like doing this whole series, and he's like, I've never loved a car more than this. And the reason he wants to own it is he wants to own it before in 10 years' time when these cars are impossible to own because of emissions rules and everything like that.
Yeah.
Electric cars and whatever. So he just really wanted to tick the box, and fuck, it just looks so sexy to drive. I could have my kids in the back. I could have my golf clubs in the back. I could get a dog. I could have a sheep, a dog, a cow, my kids, Claudia, and the golf clubs, and it wouldn't even be a problem. And I think that's it. When you want something, when I've got such a small car, I don't want a big car. I want a fucking truck. I want something so big that I could just fit 5 cars inside it.
Yeah, true.
So I've very much been fed up with having a small car.
Just be careful with. You just need to look at it objectively. I know.
Yeah.
You need to look at the insurance category that it's in.
Objectively, it's a sexy car. The tax on it's quite low, actually. Objectively, it's a brilliant car. But the tax on it's quite low. The mileage would be like, instead of spending like £6 to drive somewhere, you'll end up spending £16. But there's one thing that it has, which it has a gearbox that's actually really economically viable. So a lot of the other Land Rovers, you would end up spending like £30 for that journey. But because of this automatic gearbox that it has, it's always like you're driving in a really cushy high gear. So you're like,
right,
rather than my car, it's like, which still says that it's 45 miles to the gallon. Fuck knows. Maybe that's in Malaysia, but it's still not doing that good over here. Right. This does segue nicely, not to tell everyone about the car journeys forever. And I am still working on the Ferrari, by the way. People who are like, why is he getting a Land Rover? I thought Miyako was buying your Ferrari. She asked my mum for the money for the Ferrari. My mum said no. So I've now asked Miyako to go back and say, but look at my credit score. So we'll be waiting on that. So one thing that segues quite nicely from cars, which is something I've been thinking about, and we do live in the land of segue over here. I hope you enjoy it, people, because we don't just take you we don't just go for the encyclopedia and randomly pick a page. We segue on this cast. So the next one would be, if you're such a tinkerer and you love tinkery too, why have I never seen you being a car tinkerer? Because to me, when I look at a car, I just look at a box of unknown things that somehow carry me forwards. And I did work on cars with my dad when I was younger, but mainly I just ended up trying to get rid of rust on old vintage cars, not actually understanding all the bits and the components and that. But the car just seems like the perfect. Like, I'm surprised you haven't bought like a 1994 Mini Cooper or something weird and had it in your garage and just got your dick out and been tinkering all day.
Right.
Like,
So
what is it? What is it? What is your fetish for tinkering, and why is it only directed towards certain things?
right. So I would love to do that on cars. Like I've always whenever something's gone wrong with the car, I've always like the car that I've got now is a Fiat Punto 2008 model. It's going strong. It's done nearly 100,000 miles, and it's like still in pretty good nick. We haven't spent that much money on it, but the problem is with a lot of that I have is that number one, I don't really have the space for it. Like I know I've got a garage, and if I did get like a 1970s Mini Cooper, I probably could do the work that I need to do in there.
Yeah, the Cooper in the garage would work, but if you had any other car, you'd be like opening the door and you'd be like, well, fuck, can't get in. Yeah.
I would. There's a lot of like, if I really wanted to go in hard with it, there's like a lot of just equipment that you just like need. Like tools that you just need. I have a lot of tools. I just don't. You need like extra extensions for your ratchet wrenches. You need jacks. You need like maybe ramps. You need like an engine lift if you want to get to the engine. I know. I've studied a lot on like how cars work. I know how they work in principle. I know the elements within the car, transmissions and stuff, and accessory belts and drive chains and all this stuff.
But let me just list some of them just to show.
Just to show.
It's like you're in an interview.
But I haven't had the space. But there is a bit. There's something to this here, which me and my dad. We were talking about it in the car the other day. We're very heavily considering doing our CBT for, I think it stands for compulsory basic training or something, for motorcycles. And then I'm probably, when I get my first paycheck, going to get myself a little bike, a little motorbike.
Oh, shit. Fucking hell. People on the road, don't just look out for bikes, look out for Woody on a bike, because if you knock him off, I'm going to be pissed off. I need this guy. But you see what I've done there is I'm going to buy a car that's probably going to break at times. And I've just warmed up your nipples for the idea that you might like to work on cars.
Oh, right.
See?
Well, I'm not going to be here forever.
That's what I was doing. That's what I think. Oh, no. I'm happy to give you a Zoom call, mate.
It'd be nice to work on a Land Rover in a big double garage.
Yeah, I slide the laptop underneath the car, and then I'll pull it out and be like, what the fuck's up with it?
Yeah.
Fucking, it's huge and it doesn't go anywhere. What do I do? I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, that's the nice thing about Land Rovers, not the Range Rovers. The Range Rover. Wait, is this a Range Rover or a Land Rover?
Let me get the thing and send it to you.
Oh no, I've got it here. You sent it to me. Yeah, here it is.
Can you link it back to me again so I can look at it? Because I just like looking at it.
It's a Land Rover.
Gets me going a bit. It's
one
of the old
Range Rover,
but it's the Rogue. Oh, if you know what the Rogue is, guys.
I posted it in the Discord.
So if you,
I mean the TeamSpeak. Sorry.
If you look at it though, one thing I love about it is like the mums who drive around Hutton Mount with all of their fake lips and Range Rovers.
Can you not look for like a 2010 version or like a 2011 version?
No.
Like how much are they?
It'd be like 15 grand.
Really?
Yeah. But the thing is, dude, is as I say, Like this car here, specifically the Vogue, is like a sought after Range Rover, okay?
Okay.
Especially when it's a 4.4 V8, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Because if it's not a 4.4 V8, you'll fucking hate driving that car, yeah? Now, at this price, this car will be gone in a week and a half, all right?
Right.
Just to put some FOMO on it. The people selling it, I've looked at all of their reviews, and they don't seem like shit sticks who fuck you over. There's one negative review, which is where she said, I asked him to fix the air conditioning, and he said he was allergic to air conditioning. And the guy replied, and he was like, "Yeah, like I don't know, like I can't explain it, like I am."
Yeah.
But anyway, all of them, if you look in the criteria of the same caliber car, have done 150,000 miles.
Okay.
And this one is bang spanking. It looks clean as fuck. There's not many.
It's got a CD changer. Oh.
Yeah. Have you seen the way it says Vogue at the back? And also, you see the back windscreen, it's quite long and it dips down, which makes it kind of a retro feel. The new Range Rovers don't do that, and they're all tinted out and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the interior. You see that woodwork in the interior?
I can't even... Let me get to the interior. So
the interior is... it's hard as fuck.
Oh, yeah, that looks nice.
And the seats warm.
Definitely need a different steering wheel there. It's a bit of a...
Everything is good.
Look at those armrests. Yeah, I just super chilled out in that car.
Yeah, mate. It's got pimped up sound system as well. They've done their own sound system in there. Can you imagine our music that I could be listening to? I could be listening to that. I could be listening to classical FM. I could just be happy.
Here's the interesting thing about Range Rovers, right? And all Land Rovers, cars are like this. The Nissan Juke is a bit like this as well, where it's a huge car. But for some reason, the back seats, there isn't much legroom. Like, there's just as much legroom as a hatchback. Well,
the Nissan Juke, okay, I will tell you right now, Nissan Juke is like driving my car, but with a big body. My mum bought it specifically because she wanted to have a bigger car now that we were getting grandkids and everything.
They're not
Sold
bigger.
It straight away and got a Cougar.
Yeah.
So I think the reason with this, why it's so big, is just because...
The boot and the engine.
Put it this way, the kids are not going to have a problem in the back, but the boot is huge. And that's because people who have these cars, normally they've got 5 sheep in the back. They're driving through a field, driving off cliffs, whatever. So it needs to be able to have 5 sheep in the back.
So is it manual or automatic? Oh,
it's automatic.
Okay.
Full service history. Only 2 owners. I can't tell you. Every single other car that does this has about 7 owners, and that just makes me realise that they're just shifting it from one to the other. I will buy this car and I'll buy it and drive it for like a year, and suddenly the suspension will be popped on it, and that will be a big job. Yeah, it'll be like $1,500 into the car to get new suspension sorted on it. But would you rather get a Kia and have to do this stuff? Or would you know what I mean?
True,
it's just,
yeah, true.
It just gets my nipples going. And I don't know how I can just let it go. I really don't.
Well, how much is it?
And it's only 4.8 Ethereum.
They accept ETH, did you say?
Yes. I said to him, nice Vogue. Do you accept cryptocurrency? He replied back, yes. Which one? It's like, fuck me, you're my sort of guy. The only thing I did wonder about is so you can get things like a refund through like fiat purchases for a car, especially if they're doing this comes with a 3-month warranty. Like, what does that say? 3 months. I'll have to for the first year, I'll have to drive it like once every 3 weeks. But I make that 3 months like expectation of last a year just by driving it only on special occasions. Claudia would be like, can I go to the station? I'd be like, fucking walking.
Well,
I might have to keep the Savvy, actually, to be honest.
Why? Oh, just as a runaround.
Yeah, just for giblet drives. Do you know what I mean? Protect this one.
Yeah.
£50 admin fee? Fuck off.
Well, it does say that you can call them up and give a deposit. Over the phone.
Know, yeah. Exactly.
I wonder how much that deposit is.
Small deposit over the phone today, yeah. I could
10%
just send
deposit.
him a ledger with no crypto on it and probably be like, yeah, this is great. Or maybe I can find a wallet where I still know the private key, and then I can send him the wallet, and I can buy the car, and I can just disappear. That would be theft. But yeah, this is kind of like, all right, so I guess if you really want me to look at this in a different light, then feel free to spend the next week trying to find me different cars that you think I should get.
Next MOT due October.
Yeah, just around the corner, just ready to fail that shit. And they're giving me a 3-month guarantee, which is like just before the MOT comes in.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. As I say,
Last
though,
major service
so
at
the guy on
78K.
YouTube that I watched, he was like, yeah, so I spent $6,000 on it. Here's my costs. I'll link you the video. He adds up all the costs, ends up spending $8,000, and he said the suspension's still slightly off with it. Something I'm going to have to work with over time, figure out how I can figure that out on my own. But one of the best things about these cars is that they have forums after forums of people who are religiously in love with these cars.
Yeah.
They know where to buy the parts, how to buy them yourself, and how to fix them yourself. And also, you could just pop online and say, "I've got this problem," and someone
will have
who's
the
also
answer.
got a hard on for Land Rovers will be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, let me have a look at this."
Yeah.
Like, we've got little woody tinkerers just working on forums.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fair enough. I mean, it's cheap. It's $8,000. It's not like, and like as you say, if you need to throw another $4,000 at it, it's only 11K for a nice car that's going to last.
Mm.
And like, it will work. I assume it will work for a year at least.
Yeah, but the other thing to this is that it's a kind of
Is it petrol or diesel?
petrol.
Okay, that's good.
It's a nifty version of them, yeah. It's kind of like, as far as Range Rovers go, I reckon all of the Range Rovers in 10 years' time won't be worth fuck all. But I reckon this one, it still won't be worth fuck all. But when I list it, someone will be like, oh, I actually want that. Like, I won't have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks to find a buyer.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, that'll probably be, I could part exchange it for the Ferrari, whatever. But
just go for it, mate. Do you have the money? You got the crypto. Just sell the crypto, buy in cash.
yeah.
I'm not going to hit your capital gains with that. As
Well,
long as you don't withdraw anything else this year.
I'll just ping him the crypto. Just send it to a different address. I don't know how what if he was like, nah, I didn't get it.
Exactly.
What would I do then?
Well, you just quote Etherscan and say, well, you did get it.
I'd have to have like a written agreement drawn up for the transfer and all that stuff. Anyway, I mean,
need to use an escrow. There must be an service that you can use for that sort of thing.
I'll share the old car in the Discord group for those that want to embark on the journey of sorting out the car solution. We can have a little tinker around and figure out that. I was interested in asking you about cars though, but yeah, carry on. Yeah.
So yeah. And if anyone's interested in what bike I might get, or has any suggestions about what motorbike to get, I'm currently looking at
let's talk about this. Yeah,
a brand called Mutt.
What type? Just tell me what to type in Google.
Probably the Mutt Mongrel is the cheapest one, 125 cc. So it's about $3,000.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's like. Have you watched The Great Escape before?
Yeah.
It's like the one he drives off in the end.
It's either the Mongrel
little
or
World
the
War
Hill.
II bike.
Yeah.
They're nice. That's one thing. So I've had my stepdad's mate Simon used to have a load of bikes. He'd have a new bike every year.
Yeah.
And when he went through the whole journey, what he ended up settling on was, the big BMW bikes that are almost like police bikes. Like big cruiser bikes. He ended up settling on that.
Right.
But he has been through the motions on all of them. I think a part of why he settled on that is because he's quite a big chap. So I reckon having a hunky little thing, doesn't have to worry about balance and all that shit. Probably enjoyed it. But one thing he did say is he's like, you'll get a Harley Davidson sort of bike and you'll love it. You'll probably get fed up with how loud it is after a while, unless you're a hardcore Harley Davidson fan with a leather jacket and a beard.
Yeah.
After that, you'll want to try a super bike, and you'll try a super bike. But when you ride a bike and the front wheel starts wobbling. So when I should give context, wobbling as in your steering bar starts wobbling from side to side. So that's something that can happen sometimes when you're on a bike, especially if you're on like a super bike going quite fast. And he said he managed to save it and get it out of that. And he still to this day, he doesn't know how he saved it. He didn't do anything. He feels like he went over a bump that fixed it or something. But he was pretty convinced in that moment he was going to die.
Jesus.
And he sold the bike a week later and was like, no, I don't actually want this bike.
Yeah.
So I think the bike journey to go down is an interesting one. Just I think you've kind of cut the bullshit out when I'm looking at this bike. This looks like a good thing to have. But there's only one thing that I don't like about bikes, which is you have to dress up like a fucking bell end everywhere you go. Like you've got to wear like you're an astronaut. Like yeah, why are you dressed like that? Oh, I've got a bike. You have to carry your helmet around like an excuse. Like everyone looks at you weirdly, and you like kind of nod towards. Yeah, I've got a bike. Oh, he's got a bike. Oh,
so right. this is gonna be me.
Because you're going to be suited and booted.
Is that going to link you correctly?
Where are you linking now?
A bad request.
I don't like it when you link stuff. If you link stuff in Discord, it goes straight to my Brave. At the moment, I'm opening Bing.
Okay, I'll just send you the picture.
You're making me Bing. If anyone uses Bing out here and you listen to the podcast, I don't want to tell you to leave, but this is... Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to drive past you in my Land Rover and I'm going to say, you look like a bell end. But you'll think you look really cool. You know what? You're privileged you don't have to wear glasses because you can wear sunglasses and actually enjoy the liberation of what sunglasses are.
Well, maybe, but I was also thinking of getting goggles.
Oh my God.
So
I want to turn up to the pub and you have your goggles and your gay helmet you've got here. Nothing wrong with being gay, but it's a gay helmet with it's got a little visor as well popping down.
So now the alternative is
what Woody wants, Claudia. This is what Woody wants to wear when he rides his bike.
Now the alternative is something like this, which I think looks cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That looks like you're about to freaking ski down a ski slope and shoot someone on the way down.
Yeah,
with an AK.
Right. That's
great.
Sick. Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. There's one thing you can do with these helmets as well is you can get ones that play music whilst you're in it, and what that means is that when someone hits you with a car, you can at least be listening to the music that you like.
Yeah.
Oh, look at he looks like he's trying to squeeze a poo out whilst he's. We can't do these images whilst we're on podcast for our little audio viewers out there, but he's just sent me a picture of an old man in a space helmet. Like, I've never managed to get on the bike grind. Like, there's just something about it. I see someone on a bike, and I just think I can understand. You're a bit of a lone ranger, so I think having a bike is like, oh yeah, and it's like, why would you drive a car with 4 seats? Like,
right.
Like, who are you carrying around? You yourself and like your opinions. Like,
yeah,
exactly. You might as well grab a bike. So it makes sense.
I guess I just want to. So
I want you to get a sidecar so I can be like Gromit.
It'd have to be a fucking long one.
What's the Wallace and Gromit theme tune? I'll be in the side, wings pop out, and off I'll fly. Oh, fucking love Wallace and Gromit. They should have made more films.
Yeah.
They really didn't hit the groove that they should have. 4 films for a series like that, honestly. It's because it's all made out of Play-Doh. Continue about your bike stuff. I know you want to talk about it, even though everyone thinks bikes are gay.
Well, so the reason why I've been thinking about it for quite some time, to be honest. Like, this is not something that I've just like thought of this week. This is like I've been thinking about a bike for a long time.
I remember back in E-Move, it was a brief discussion.
Yeah.
I think Alice is big on bikes, isn't he?
Yeah. Now
you might want to ask him actually about this bike because he had a Mac. He had a Harley Davidson that was a Mac something that's very similar to this. So you could get some feedback from him. You say, yo, first bike, I'm thinking this. Actually, if we ever get him on the podcast, this can be a topic. So this will help us strengthen our cause to get him on the cast. Maybe. Even though he's already said he's happy to. I keep interrupting you when you just want to talk about bikes. Go on.
It's just been nice weather. Like it's just been really nice weather in the UK recently. Like I can't remember the last time it rained, like fully rained. Like there's been a few drizzles here and there, but like on the whole, the last 3 or 4 weeks have just been like sunny.
Yeah.
And I just thought, how nice would it be to just open up the garage, get on the bike, just like go somewhere, just go down some country roads, nice, you know, just like 30 miles an hour, just boom, go to a field.
Jesus Christ, it's not expensive, is it?
No, it's $3,000.
I was about to ask you if you were going to get it new or second hand. Dude, I've seen pedal bikes that are $3,000.
I know.
And this looks mint.
Right. So it's
That is sexy. Have you seen... I want a bike now.
Right. So
wait, have you seen the customization options? Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't.
Look at that. I see what I've just linked you. I'm not saying you have to choose that one. I didn't even...
there's loads of options.
Yeah. But that's...
How much is this one?
It's $3. Oh, would you get it in matte black all over? I found one that's matte black all over.
The Mongrel's matte black, except from the seat.
No. You can get the same one you're talking about in all these different colours.
No, that's the one you sent me. Is the Akita. They're different models.
Why'd you give a fuck what the model is? Look at this bike. It's the same price. Buy this bike. Look at it.
Which one?
The one I just sent you. I like bikes now.
What's this? The FSR matte black. What are you talking about? It's £3,495. The Mongrel is like 2,950.
So just repeat what you just said there.
3,495.
Yeah.
For the one that you sent me.
Yeah.
And my one is £500 cheaper.
Okay. £500. Like, I feel like I could flick you and 500 quid would just fall out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Like, what are you crying about here? Just get the bike you want. What I was thinking is, I thought you were gonna buy. Wait, all right, okay. So there's a specific type you want. Okay, so you want the.
Well, I don't know. There's a few bikes that are nice.
What's it called?
There's the Mongrel.
I'm not seeing. That's a 250.
No, Mongrel 125, matte black.
I can't see a Mongrel on their site. There's one. Oh yeah. Oh, matte black. Here we go. It's got the leather seat. I don't like the brown seat on it.
Maybe like the brown seat. That's their lowest price one. The Razorback looks shit.
What are you getting for the extra price? Just out of interest.
Just different style. They're all the same bike.
You might be getting like road stability. Is it just the accessories you're getting?
It's just the colour. It's just essentially they're all the same bike. Some of the wheels are bigger than the others.
Just fucking buy it after this podcast, man.
Now the Fat Sabbath looks nice. The Fat Sabbath 125.
For people who want to browse at home, we are on muttmotorcycles.com. MUTT. The Black Sabbath, or the Fat Sabbath matte black. Yeah, dude, there's something about this matte black thing that is like, that's super cool. As much as I'll see person on a bike. What? Have you seen the picture on the advert? There's a guy driving it. He's like, it looks like he's pulling his bike out of the ocean.
It's not loading for me.
Click on the Black Sabbath and then scroll down to the fourth picture. He's tugging his bike up a beach. That's not selling me a bike.
It's not loading.
Why
anyway,
isn't that loading. So let me save this picture and send it to you.
So I need to do a CBT and then a CBT. So here's the thing, right? Is the reason why I don't want to spend the extra 500 quid is because this first bike, if I do this, here's the route. Here's the pathway. I do a CBT, which is about 300 quid, let's say, which allows me to ride a 125cc motorbike. I can then spend 500, 600 quid after I've done 6 months after my CBT, after I've got used to the bike that I purchased. I can do my A license, which allows me to ride any bike, any size, any cc, like any power.
Did you? What was the CC you said for the test? It gets you to ride a what?
125.
Yeah, so you can just buy this tomorrow and start learning.
But there's no point. I'll just go do my test first, and then
can you
buy
ride a bike? Can you ride a push bike?
it. Yeah, it won't be hard. It takes like a day, maybe 2 days to do the CBT,
Fuck.
and then I can do it.
Claudia, have you seen this?
But here's the point, Tim, is soon after I get my CBT and I get this bike, I'm probably going to do the full license. And in which case, like a 125 is like, it's all well and good, but like it can barely go on the motorway. Not that I want to go on the motorway, but
This can't go on the motorway because it's a smaller engine.
Its max speed is 70 miles an hour, and that's going to be like...
Oh, dude, nah. This, don't buy it. It's come out of a, you could, they give little gifts in the cereal box. You could probably pull one of these out. Why don't you get the 250 version?
Because I can't ride a 250 until I got my full license.
Yeah, but you're going to get your full license in what, 2 weeks?
I need a bike.
Oh, just find a shit stick off eBay. Like one of those scooters. Or just get a hairdryer and put it on the back of your bicycle and see if they notice the difference.
Yeah, right. But so the thing is if you get... I can get an eBay bike, right, and like be happy with it.
Yeah.
Or I might just be happy with a 125 and never like want to do a full license, even if I do want to do a full license.
When are you going on the motorway?
Right. So
I actually know there's a few motorways on the way to mine, and when you're coming to work on the Land Rover, you're not going to want to do the 3-hour journey on the country roads.
Well, I probably wouldn't ride there on a bike anyway.
Wouldn't you? Oh, yeah, because you might not make it, and then the Land Rover wouldn't get fixed. Good point. So one thing that's good about these bikes, yeah, is I like to... So I show it to Claudia, and then she has like a distaste for it. Like she doesn't like it because obviously she doesn't want me to ride a bike. And then I just feel good about myself because someone in the world wants me to stay alive. So
no, okay.
That's great. Thanks, Claudia. That's how I know you love me. Little checks like that.
They also do the fat sabers in the gloss black as well, which
black.
Not gloss black. It's what colour is that? It's like a bronze, I guess.
Oh, bronze. Nah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it looks shit, doesn't it? But anyway,
yeah.
The point
there is one thing with this though, is it does look like a bit of a. It looks like a bit of a toy you'd pull out of a cereal box, like I said. Yeah. So if you're gonna buy this, like, I would 100% be vying towards the 250. So at least when people see you driving that bike, like I'm imagining you riding this bike, yeah, turning up, like it looks so cool, yeah. And then I'm in my little Proton Savvy hatchback and just pulling away from you, just like it's me opening the
bike.
window and hearing you like, and the sound of it, like,
yeah,
like all those little chavs that drive around the estates on those scooters. Like it'd be exactly the same because it's only 150 to 125 cc. I don't know, like
it's still a powerful bike. It's better than a moped. Like those mopeds are only like 50 cc.
Yeah,
unless they've been like unlocked. And like they've been bumped up to like 100. So it does have some power behind it. Like it will be fine going to yours through Brentwood. Like I would never feel like it's underpowered. Yeah. It's just if I was to go on the A12 to yours, I would be my throttle would be at max, and I would be going like my engine would be crying.
You can just drive in the slow lane behind all the lorries. But so before we continue, I feel like we should, well, for one, I'm very excited to see where this goes. We will provide updates on the bike and, of course, the Land Rover Vogue that we're going to be ordering very soon. I say that because Claudia's listening. But I feel like we should perhaps park car and bike talk.
Yep.
Just to make sure we entertain those who aren't facilitated by bike and car talk. So I have a few little top topics here. And before going into a main topic, I'd like to hit you with a subtopic because we do have subtopics around here. Mm-hmm. What are the best movies you can think of?
Best movies?
Because you're not a massive movie chap, are you? Like, you don't go to the pub and be like, we just got to talk about movies. Have you seen this? Have you seen this?
No, I don't.
And I think a lot of people who do that are just bellends anyway. But, I mean, one thing that's interesting is to go to IMDb and to look at, like, the top 200 films or something like that. And a lot of the time, I feel like I could walk into Blockbusters, even though there is no such thing anymore. But I could go onto Netflix or I could go online and think, what movie do I want to watch? And I just say to myself, I've seen them all. I've seen all the good ones. They're all finished. Like, I'm dried up, yeah?
Yeah.
But when you go to IMDb top 200 movies, yeah. It's really interesting because I haven't actually seen a lot of them. So I'm going to go through the list right now. You can shout out if you've seen it and give it an opinion, like 10 out of 10, yeah?
Okay.
Number one. What do you think number one is? What's the best movie of all time, according to most of the world? Comes in with a score of 9.3.
Oh, I don't know. No idea.
Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, yeah, that is a good film.
Seen it? Good film. Yeah. Good film. And as far as films go, storytelling films like that, I think, deserve to be among the greats. So I think it's done a good job. Number two is The Godfather. I've never seen The Godfather.
I've not.
Maybe we should make a day of it. We should just watch them. Because there's lots of people always like, oh, yeah, the third one let it down. Oh, 2 and 1 were brilliant. Oh, cigars, Al Pacino. Oh, brilliant. I've got no idea. Like, Al Pacino is this word people talk about, and I've got no fucking clue. Pulling a blank.
Yeah.
Number 3, The Dark Knight.
No.
Well, you say that. It is actually quite a good film. When you think about what happened with the Joker in that film, Heath Ledger. Have you Heath Ledger in that
is
film?
Brilliant. He's the only thing that makes that film good. Other than that, it's shit.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're right. The storyline is crap. Especially, like, one thing I hate about the Batman is, like, what can you do with it as a character?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's the best Batman. He's the same as all the others. I'm Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off. Like, bullshit. Godfather 2 comes in at number 4. 12 Angry Men at number 5. Never seen it, but filmed in 1957. And apparently it's at number 5. I think that's worth a watch. Number 6 is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
That's
the third
interesting.
One.
That's
very
very
interesting.
interesting.
Pretty good.
I wonder why that's so high up the list.
This segues into the next thing I was about to say. I think we'll understand why that was high up the list when we segue into my next topic, which is the topic that this is the subtopic of. Okay. Number 7, the most critically acclaimed. Everyone knows it. It's got a red poster with yellow writing on it. What am I talking about?
No idea.
There's a girl sitting on the front of it smoking a cigarette. Close. I would squeeze the out of an orange. If it wasn't the juice, for blood, geez, you're a weirdo. If I was to squeeze an orange and I didn't want to get the juice out, what would I be aiming for?
Pips.
No, begins with P.
Pith.
Fuck. rhymes with gulp.
Pulp.
Second word?
Pulp Fiction.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Number 8, sad one about Jews.
Sad one about Jews.
World War II. Very, very sad film. Don't want to watch it. Gets you very depressed, and it shows that humans are awful. Schindler's List.
Not seen that one. I've not seen that.
You haven't seen Schindler's List? You should watch it. It's a
really?
Good one.
Should I?
Yeah. Well, it's quite interesting. It's about a guy who's like kind of like secretly saving Jews by getting them into his factory to work.
Is the film made by Jews?
Steven Spielberg, Liam Neeson, Ralph Fiennes. Probably not. Don't sound Jewish to me. The next one is come on, that's the music to it. You're in a dream, inside of a dream,
Inception.
inside of a dream. Very good. Well done. Next one is there are three rules. The first one is you don't talk about
Fight Club.
Yeah, good film.
Yeah, I would put that as a good film.
Yeah, it is a bit of a. That's one of the only films where they try and trick you at the end, and like has kind of still like, yeah, okay, fine, I take it.
Yeah.
Number 11 is Lord of the Rings, the first one.
Now it's interesting you say that about
Yeah.
Fight Club. There's another one that does that. What's his name?
What is his name?
Leonardo. On the island.
Leonardo on the island. Fuck.
On the in the not prison. It's not a prison. I don't want to give.
Oh yeah, no. Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Shutter
another
Island is
film
good.
that's,
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Where's that on the list? That must be high somewhere.
One of Leonardo DiCaprio's best films is The Aviator. Have you ever seen that?
Don't think so.
It's about a guy who invents planes who goes a bit mad. And I think you'd really like that because it's all to do with inventions.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. You don't have to just chuck it in the bin. I know you're not going to watch it. So number 12 is Run.
Run, Forrest Gump.
Very good. Number 13 is The Good, the Bad.
The Beloved.
Oh, Jesus. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Number 14 is The Two Towers. Number 15 is... how would I say this? Follow the White Rabbit.
No idea.
You are the one.
Oh, Matrix.
Very good. Yeah.
Which one?
The first one.
Okay.
Original. Yeah. Fuck the rest of them.
Yeah.
16 is Goodfellas. We're not going to go through the whole shebang here, people. 16 is Goodfellas, which is a older film about crime, drama, all that shebang. 17, Star Wars. Fuck off. Did you ever watch the Star Wars films?
Yeah.
Did you ever like the Star Wars films? Exactly.
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Have you seen that? That is Jack Nicholson. He's inside a mental institution.
Jack Nicholson.
So he's a criminal who pleads insanity, but he's not actually insane, and he goes into a mental institution. That is fucking brilliant. And one thing it plays about, is that like when you're in a mental institution, you can be a psychiatrist and you can like be looking at a room of people and you're taking notes and you're like, likes to spend a lot of time by himself, reads the newspapers in the morning, but spends an hour doing so. Seems to not enjoy conversing with strangers.
Right, there's everything you can pick out about a person to make them sound insane.
Yeah, seems to be scratching his chin a lot. And then you're proper looking at them through a lens. Parasite, which is a recent film, which is quite to do with a similar theme.
Seen Parasite.
I haven't as well, but it keeps coming up on these charts.
I seen Parasite?
It's about. It seems to have a lot of Korean stars.
I think it's a Korean film that got a Grammy or not. Was it not a Grammy?
There's a lot going on here.
Oscar.
Number 20 is Interstellar. That's a good film. I love that film. The music is brilliant.
Music's brilliant.
When he's fucking going through the black hole and he's like...
Story's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's weird, but when he's going through the black hole, I'm just like, As far as driving a spaceship and making it look cool, you can't do it. You can't impress me. Exactly the problem with Star Wars.
Yeah.
But when he's going through the black hole and that music's going... I'm just like, it's fucking, what a driver. I couldn't drive through a black hole, but this fucker's doing it.
It was a good investigation into how far we can take our imagination and exploring extra dimensions with our minds and with technology that we've got, i.e. CGI. And into the interpretation of fourth dimension is interesting, the way they've done it. That's all I'll say. Other than that, it's an okay film.
Great job. 21 will skip. City of God. Fuck knows. Spirited Away, number 22. Now this...
Can you do a search?
Yes.
Can you see where Snatch is? SNATCH.
Not fucking on there, mate.
It's not on there.
How many's on a page? Just to give you context of how many you've missed out on. So you're not in the top 50. You are number 92.
Jesus Christ.
I
wouldn't say it's the best film. I'm just saying it's
good to be included. Good to be included.
Film that come up to my mind.
So, I mean, we'll kind of wrap it up there.
Okay.
It does go into Spirited Away, which I keep seeing on Netflix, which is
Where's Avatar on the list?
It's like an fuck off Avatar. It's like a animated film, and I've never managed to get into these anime things, but apparently they're brilliant. I hope one day I'll do it. Saving Private Ryan 23, The Green Mile 24. That's a good film. And anyway, then Life is Beautiful number 25.
I think the viewers can go on IMDb and have a look for themselves if they really.
But I guess the main point that I wanted to get at is that it's so interesting that you think you know these things, like you think you've seen all the films, but you haven't. So I might just start chipping away at those. I guess we can move into the main topic now, which is, and after this one, we will need a break. So I've been thinking a lot about reading new books, stepping into different areas of my fiction understanding, okay? And a big thing that stops doing this for me is I am so invested in worlds like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, even though I've kind of zoned out from Harry Potter for now. I'm very invested in the world of Game of Thrones, and I love looking at fan fiction or looking at fan theories. Some people break down what they think is going to happen in the next book, all these weird things, yeah. So one thing that's interesting to me is I feel like I don't want to open a new book, because if it was a book about dragons, well, I've got my dragon book, and it's Game of Thrones. If it was a book about this, like, I've got this, yeah. But one thing that's interesting is, like, this sentence which I was thinking of, which is carving out a space for yourself in the world artistically. And what I mean by that is there are some works of art that carve out their own realm. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. And some of those worlds, they overlap in specific ways in terms of the deep world building techniques that they use. But the flavour, just like a packet of crisps, the different flavour that you get from each one.
Still a fried potato chip.
Yeah, but I just can't. It's just such an interesting thing to me, the fact that...
Is it you don't want to open a book because you're worried about...
I don't have the incentive.
Right. So what I was going to say
I don't think I'm going to find wisdom there. Like, which I definitely will. Like, my brother keeps saying to it, he's like, oh, if you like Game of Thrones, you'd love Brandon Sanderson. And every week we play golf, he's like, if you listen to Brandon Sanderson, oh, you'd love Brandon Sanderson. And I'm like, fuck off with Brandon Sanderson. Yeah. Fuck off. So I like Brandon Stark of Winterfell. It
could be one of two things, I think. It's either you've built up such a model in your head of what certain aspects of Game of Thrones is. Like, it's how it depicts dragons. And that for you is like, what I think the worry is for you is that if you start reading another book on dragons that it has dragons as part of it, maybe it's not the main thing.
I've only got so much room in my head for dragons. Like,
well, I think it could be that you just like there's a fear of disappointment in reading books about another dragon, because you go, well, that's not how dragons are. Like you've built up this idea of
where's Daenerys?
Exactly. I totally empathise with that.
But I did also. I'm glad you empathise, because it is quite a problem. But I didn't want the topic specifically to be about my problem. I also wanted to ask about the sentence of carving out your space artistically in the world, and how you can make these things that just stand on their own. And I know it's only society and the audience that really actually carries a book or, a painting or a song to stand on its own. But They always kind of do. Like, so you could write a song and someone would be like, "Oh, that sounds like Sweet Child of Mine from Guns N' Roses," but no one would ever listen to Sweet Child of Mine and say, "Oh, that sounds like this." Do you know what I mean? It's just like sometimes a piece of art is so good.
I think it's just
that
its
it gets.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just the recognition that it obtains, right? It's just
Yeah. Well, I guess that recognition is a reception of how good it is. Like, as humans, as a species, we're just able to open up our hearts and say, "Yeah, this is it." Fantasy novels, Game of Thrones. There you go. That'll be $7.99.
Could also be something more, more. I don't know the word, but more suspicious or more suspect in that, you know, maybe I'm not saying it all, but maybe some of these artworks that are prominent maybe had just a better publisher at the time, or a better backing.
Some good marketing.
Some good marketing, yeah.
So, one thing that's funny, yeah. So, I have to Google this to get the facts. Give me 2 seconds.
The majority of artists make money when they're dead. Or better way to phrase it would be the majority of money that artists make is when they're dead.
So
there are very few people that can carve out a space, and I don't know if it's up to, I don't know how what it's up to.
This Game of Thrones chap, George R.R. Martin. I've given him an extra R there, George R. Oh no, I haven't. George R.R. Martin. He's written like 60 books that no one knows about. But then the Game of Thrones has made him the most well-known publisher probably in the world. Like, I might be overstating it a bit.
Right, but is that because of, it would be good to see how much, it'd be good to see the peak of the sales of that book. Was it when he released the book? Was it a year after he released the book? Or was it when...
Oh, definitely after HBO picked it up.
Yeah, after HBO picked it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
It's just interesting.
So it didn't carve out its own space until somebody else.
No, it did. It put a shift in. I think compared to...
Didn't.
No, it did. If you look at the sales, like, the reason HBO picked it up is because this is a banging book that's getting a lot of sales. And I think one thing that's...
Can you get the stats? Can you show us?
I've got a line in my head, mate. It's fucking peaking all over the place before HBO picked it up.
Got a line in your head? All right.
Yeah. I mean, like, at the end of the day, Assumption City over here, you bring the facts. If you want to go and look up...
This is your realm. I don't know where to find book sale trends.
Oh, that's so cliche, because there's a guy who says that he does everything for the realm in the Game of Thrones thing. Oh, I hope some of our listeners love Game of Thrones, because I've always just, I listen to these Game of Thrones podcasts, and I just wish I could get you on board. I wish I could just inject you with Game of Thrones knowledge. Just like a little prick, just little EpiPen. Get you up and running with the jazz. I need a little personal break.
Can't find it. Yeah, so do I.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. We will see you shortly.
Welcome back.
We return. I have 2 topics that one of which I thought we should cover at the start, but I'm kind of glad we're not. So we have 2 topics which are community generated from a fantastic subscriber contributing to all of our work. So I think the first of them we should go with is sexuality and gender. So I did have a chat with Vicky at the pub about this, Vicky and Brad as well. So I've consulted some of my friends. The comment that Cytran left us when he asked about talking about sexuality and gender is said, or is that too taboo for the Just Swim cast? And my reply was, it is by no means just too taboo. There is no topic too taboo. But I think we should caveat it with the fact that we want everyone to understand that we by no means mean to upset anyone. We are not educated enough because we don't experience these things. But we would like to give our views on how we see things from outside of the fishbowl, which is the best we can possibly do because we are not in the fishbowl. But we have an appreciation that being inside of the fishbowl, the plants are very different to how they look on the outside. Now,
but at the same time, like, I'm grateful that you've done that apology to the world.
you have to in this day and age.
Well, I just like.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, I don't want to apologize for my opinions.
I know. I mean, I'm very much like that as well. I think hopefully you can bring a bit more of that to the cast. But yeah, so I mean, they're two different things, gender and sexuality. I think the easiest one to talk about is sexuality. I think the hardest one is gender. To tick the sexuality box, as far as I stand, you can fuck a lamppost and I don't care. If I see you fucking a lamppost,
I will laugh.
That's a bit weird and I'll laugh at you. But like, each to their own. I really couldn't care less. And that's always been how I've kind of felt about it. There is a weird thing that I've noticed, which is if I see like on TV two guys making out, I'm a bit like, if I see two girls making out, I'm a bit like, but maybe that's just how. But then a funny thing is, when I've watched that sort of thing with a girl, like with my partner or something like that, Claudia Tan, the wonderful, I think guys making out also is kind of like a bit like.
For girls too, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't understand why there's a difference. I guess it's just
I don't know.
Like hormones and how we work. God knows. But gender's an interesting one, and I mentioned the Peep Show earlier. So there was a funny thing that I did, which I discovered a podcast that invited Jez and Jeremy, the actors David, and I've forgotten the other chap's name. Mitchell and Webb, basically, the two actors who do the Peep Show. This chap invited them onto a podcast and talked to them for about an hour about being on the Peep Show, what it was like, how much he was a fan, and all these things. And towards the end of the podcast, he segued by asking a question, saying to Jez Webb, I think his name's Mark Webb, I might be wrong. He said, so around 3 years ago, you tweeted saying that you didn't support, or I'm not actually sure what the exact tweet was because it's been deleted, but that he found something a bit odd about a charity that is called Dolphins Trust or something like that. Now, what this charity is it's to support gender dysphoria for children. And the guy on the podcast asked this question, and Jez kind of replied. I'll call him Jez. He said, it's a bit of a left field question to pop up, considering what we've been talking about. Like, it's great to come on and talk about our work and what we're doing and everything like that. Obviously, we weren't expecting this to come up. It's a tweet I did 3 years ago. And I feel like it's a topic that you can't really talk about. And the podcaster said, well, the reason I wanted to talk about it is I'm a parent of 2 children, and I think he said both, I might be wrong, but he said one of them in particular came out as gender dysphoric when he was 3 in kindergarten, okay, saying that he wanted to be a girl, okay. Now, as a parent myself, I would say that there are days when Miyako wants to be a pirate and days where Miyako wants to be Elsa from Frozen. Yeah. And there are days where I've shown her Spider-Man and I've bought her an Iron Man toy, a little figurine that fires little things out of his arm, and she loves it. And I've always kind of been of the belief that I don't need to buy Miyako pink things, like she has a blue bike with footballs on it. And I guess my mum actually asked me at the time, like, which bike do you want, the blue one or the pink one? And I said the blue one. It's kind of a weird thing because I don't massively believe in this whole gender stories of everything like that. one thing I do believe in is giving children a choice of, like, just because you're a girl, you don't need to play with Barbies. But one thing I really struggled with is when he was saying that, like, his kid came out to him when he was 3, and he had to live with that and figure out what to do next and all of these things, and essentially raise this child as a female instead. And when it comes into gender, gender, like, I feel like it's just the trickiest, darkest woods that I feel like I discussed this with Vicky at the pub, who also listened to the podcast. Hello, Vicky. And I think along the lines of what she said is that I'll give your views, Woody, before I go into Vicky, because I don't want to misquote. I need to think about it a bit longer.
So
it's an important topic.
Yeah. So I think. So I guess there's an issue. The main issue here is that the parent of this boy feels pressured to accept the answer, and which is flawed in itself, in my opinion.
I wonder if he himself is a participant in the gender sexuality world himself.
I would like to know what was his questions as a parent to his child when his child said, "I want to be a girl."
Maybe we need to fucking interview him.
Was it nothing? Was it, oh, okay. And then he has now accepted that, and now he is the parent is now imposing that onto the child. The child's 3 years old. He doesn't know his left hand from right hand. He doesn't know what it meant. Like, he doesn't even know the complexity involved.
Even when they're like 10.
Right.
Even when they're 15.
Right. At which point does, like, a child... I'm strongly against... So there's this thing that's this sort of, not paradox, but kind of paradoxical thinking that's happening at the moment, which I've seen a lot of, which is, there are children in school, I guess from, secondary school age, so 11 till 16 years old, there are kids, and I know for a fact there were kids in my year as well, that had difficult times mentally going through those periods. Not because of gender, not because of sexuality, just they had difficult times. Like, accepting themselves for who they were, and just mental issues. Maybe there was stuff going on at home that was making them bad, and nothing was done about it. Like, they didn't treat... Yeah. Nobody got treatment. No, people still don't get treatment.
So they're left to their own devices.
They're left to their own devices.
And not only that, their mind is left to do as the mind wishes.
Right. Yet, if an 11-year-old now decides they want to be the opposite gender, here you go. Here's a load of drugs. Here's a load of hormones. You go get it. Yet we don't. So we treat...
How the fuck are you going to end up after that? Imagine you're 25 and you're like... you haven't taken your hormone pills for a week, and you're starting to think to yourself, right. I want my dick back.
It's also this, right? There's also another paradoxical thinking, which is we have laws in place to prevent children from having sexual activity with each other. Like, I think the age in the UK is 16. For consensual sex. If it's under that, then like something like that's basically against the law. So, and also with drinking, like, you can't drink until you're 18 in the UK. You can't drink till you're 21 in the US. It might be even 25, or you can't gamble it until you're 25.
21 seems too old for drinking. 18
but they all drink when they're younger anyway. But anyway, the point is at some point in time, adults have decided when is an appropriate age for people to start doing adult things like consensual sex, like drinking alcohol or whatever. Even some drugs, like you can't, not illegal drugs, but legal drugs, like, you know, off the shelf medicine.
Yeah. Paracetamol. Can't be
things like
popping
that.
a paracetamol when you're 14 because you've got a headache.
Right. So there are already things that we accept in life that you need to be of a certain age in order to do them, even driving, right? So why are we allowing children to decide something that's going to physically change them because they don't know better? I'm not saying that they don't know better.
Physically as well, emotionally,
Everything.
socially,
So
everything. So one thing that Vicky said, so I kind of said like I wanted to protect Vicky's views, but in all honesty, I'd done a goldfish, hadn't I? And I completely forgotten what she said. But it came back to me. I wrote it down as you were going. So what Vicky said is she said that so for anyone who's experienced like mental issues or known anyone who's had mental issues, by mental issues I guess I mean depression, anxiety, all of the things above that can basically be a mind based problem, a mentality based problem. The mind can very much play tricks on you. And we kind of covered a little bit, retracing our footsteps back into the podcast where we talked about makeup in the workplace.
Yeah.
And she kind of also said that she'd got to the point, she's now, I think she's 30 or 29. No, she's 29. And she said that she felt like she'd gone to a point where she felt confident in her body, and that was a difficult journey to get towards throughout her life, whether that be just due to being a female in the world or whatever she's going through at the time. I don't know enough about it. It's a singular experience to get to that point, I guess.
Okay.
But I think very much what she was saying is that the mind can play tricks on you. You know, you can be depressed when the world is giving you everything. When you feel like you should feel on top of the world, you can be depressed. You can have anxiety problems that causes other things. And the mind is very much, a lot of people think that the mind is who you are, but I think there's a little bit beyond that in terms of the picture, in the sense that you are who you are and you always have to protect who you are and believe in who you are. But the mind is so powerful, a computer, that it can override who you are. It can convince you of who you are.
Yeah.
And as you say, a lot of people have difficult times doing things. Like, so Miyako at nursery, she a lot of the times will come home and we'll ask her about her day and who she's played with. And a big trouble at the moment is a lot of the girls she used to play with have moved on from the nursery or gone to big school and things like that. So sometimes she'll be playing on her own, or playing with a new girl that she's found or something like that. But very rarely will she be playing with a boy. The last thing that I heard from her playing with a boy was that the boy hit her in the head and she walked away and went and played with some toys. That's what I tell her to do whenever anything bad happens, is just walk away and go and play with some toys. I would say tell the teacher, but it's not going to make a fucking difference in that place.
Hit him back. What? That's what I'd teach my kid. Fucking hit him back.
Yeah, I mean, you get down the trick. Like, when they're...
That's what boys get taught.
When they're 7 or 8, I reckon I'll layer into that. But for now, I want her to... I don't want her to live in a world of... I want her to notice conflict and aggression, to be an oddity. And I think that...
Okay.
It opens worse doors to save to retaliate. But, you know, imagine the other spectrum where she came home and said she doesn't like playing with the girls because they do dressing up. They do boring things. I like to play with dinosaurs and sand and play pirates. I completely understand that. And she might then start to identify more with the male group growing up. It doesn't mean that she's not a girl, that she isn't biologically a girl and that it isn't brilliant to be a girl. But yeah, the mind playing tricks on you, you know, I think it's definitely something that we can't measure. It'd be great to, like, you know, when you have your banking or anything like that, you can log into an app and you can just see it. You could plug in Google Analytics to a website and you can look at the stats and monitor everything. But with the mind, there very much is no user interface. There is simply the thoughts you have when you go to bed at night, and then the conundrum that happens in the day that you somehow mingle through. And then your dreams, which are weird sort of spasm effects from the mind. People say they're not linked. We don't really understand them, whatever. Separate conversation. But, you know, the mind itself, as I say, it's not entirely you. There is more to you than the thoughts that you have. Because there has to be. There's a load of times when I've been negative on myself and I've hated myself. I've whatever. Like, you know, I remember as a kid once, I felt so upset. I remember I like cut my wrists once with a razor blade. Okay,
Jesus Christ.
No, I didn't do it like massively. Yeah, I dabbled. Okay, but it was only because I was really, really sad, and I felt like I didn't quite have a level at which I could communicate with everyone around me. And this is before I found the friendship group that I have today, like the J-Rays and everything like that. I didn't have what I wanted from the world. And like whether I'd somehow found out through social media that was a thing or whatever, okay, that sounds a lot worse than it was. Like it was literally like grazing myself 3 or 4 times and being like, yeah, that's not good. This isn't good. Like I'm not down for this. Yeah. And I'm sure people have had worse experiences with that or whatever. Sorry, I'm being... You want the charger? It's plugged in over there, my dearest darling. Yeah, that's all right. You believe in yourself and live the dreams you're supposed to. Charge that phone. But yeah, I think that like in that moment, it was like the world was ending, but it very much wasn't. I was an incredible person, and I just didn't realize it at the time. And you know, I don't wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, "You are incredible," but there's an under like now I've got to an age where I feel like I do have that, and then I don't have all these problems in my head that make me think like maybe I should be doing this, maybe I should be doing that. It comes from a level of instability. I guess is that kind of what you were saying before? An unstructured way to interface with the world leads to a chasm at which the mind wants to fill it with stuff to protect itself from that chasm.
Right.
The world's not working for me. I need to put up some scaffolding, and my scaffolding will be drugs. My scaffolding will be gender dysphoria, you know.
Potentially.
And it's such a difficult thing because I look at the other side of it. I look at the other side of this conversation, and I can't imagine what it would be like to sit there, to walk around, and the whole time to feel like I should be a girl. You know, I want to be a girl. And one of the things I said to Vicky and Brad at the pub is I feel like throughout my whole life, I've always felt like I am a feminine man. Like I have feminine qualities. I'm not I'm not an action man. I don't like want to talk about West Ham and go to the pub and drink beer and like these sound like crude things that aren't very masculine. But do you know what I mean? I've never felt like a lot of the like boys at school just being testosterone filled and competing for attention and all these things. Like I kind of didn't have that.
Right. So I guess
but I didn't think I needed to grow some bobblers and have a sex change. But it wasn't massively severe. Maybe if it was severe, I could have been driven to something like that.
I'm not sure. My only problem. So, I guess to carry on from where I was, I don't really know what you were saying in that whole section, but
neither do I really.
Yeah.
It's a hard topic to articulate. You'll have to forgive me. Hopefully, my lack of articulation says something. There you go.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
For me, it's a case of once you reach the age of 16 or whatever the consensual age for sex is in that country, because I think that's a big part, or not necessarily a big part, but it's a big part of life for everyone.
Yeah.
Not just for whoever.
Just because you turn 16 doesn't mean you engage in those things.
Right.
Which is another thing entirely.
At that point,
I get what you're saying.
You can decide to be who you want to be. Now, but before that point, you were born as either someone with a penis or someone that has a vagina. They are the only two options that exist.
They're both brilliant.
And I will raise you as such, as my child, to be the best of that version of human being that there is. Now, if that doesn't suit you when you get to 16, I have considered my job to be
I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I wouldn't, if they're after that age, like, even my own kids, like, if they're after that age, like, as far as I'm concerned, you are
your own human.
Yeah.
Maybe even 18. Like, if you've graduated university and you've got a job and you're earning, like, that's it. That's for me. That's it. Once you're earning enough money for me to go, right, you can support yourself. At that point, you are no longer my child. You are another human being.
Yeah, make your decisions, but support your decisions.
Right.
Live with your decisions.
Before that point, I will in no way be supporting any gender changes. Now, sexuality, on the other hand, might be quite different from that. Sexuality is a bit more complex, in my opinion.
I think it's more of a, like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if at 14 you knew that you'd like boys instead of girls or something like that. Yeah. I hate to cast stones and to say that, because there's this thing with the LGBT sort of thing, which is, I feel like a lot of it is a celebration, and I think there should be a celebration, because God, was it difficult to be a gay person 50 years ago? Like, imagine feeling something that you couldn't even bring up and discuss. And I celebrate the openness of being able to talk about the way that you feel and to actually live that life of how you feel. We should live in a world where you can do that. But it's just I don't know.
So so sexuality is very difficult for me to have conversations to people with, because that I don't know the best way to introduce my opinion of these things, but I guess I can start with, I believe that until the flaps of your mother's vagina open and you are out in the world, there is nothing inherent in you that makes you you. It's everything from when you are born and being interacted with, being spoken to, the environment around you, the way you're brought up, is what makes you you. It's not your genetics. I strongly disagree in the genetics are the way you look, and maybe some core survivalist needs that we have kept going.
An example of that might be that I reckon if I had my testosterone levels measured against an alpha male, as we've discussed, I would have lower testosterone levels than an alpha male.
Right, but the complexity.
But I didn't end up thinking, because of that, like, something different, that I am not a man.
Right, but the complexity here is that the environment around you may contribute to your levels of testosterone that you produce.
Perhaps, I don't know enough about it.
Right, that's something that we should, research on and explore, because I think it probably well can.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
your body will adapt to the environment that it's made for
like
itself.
if I live in a household where I have to constantly be combative and protecting myself because I don't have parents who are like smothering me and everything like that, then I might be more aggressive by nature, especially at the time that I hit puberty. My body's reaction might be,
Right.
dude, you need to fucking bulk up and sort your shit out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, you're right. I don't know the science, but it sounds like a logical thing.
Right.
Assumption City.
Assumption City. But I think there is something to it, right? Like I think somebody you know, like there's like loads of things, loads of professions that, you know, after laying bricks for so long, your body will adapt to laying bricks. The abrasions on your hands will make your hands tougher, meaning that you won't get cut so much. Like your environment dictates a lot about how your body adapts to the world around it. And I think that could go to all levels. Testosterone being one of them. Now, so I think the idea when people say people can be born of a different sexuality than the norm, than the majority, right? So anything other than heterosexual, I would say, is outside of the norm, right? What nature intended, basically. I strongly disagree in the idea that people are born non-heterosexual. If we were, then if we are, then fuck knows how we've lasted this long.
It's weird though, because I remember a friend of mine, one of his siblings was a younger sibling, and I watched this child grow up, and I always felt like I would always say, and my everyone in my family knew this person, and my friends knew him as well, and I always felt like he was gay. Before, I mean, maybe I don't know before he knew it, yeah, because he was a lot younger than me. I was like, this kid's a bit gay, yeah. I just had that opinion, and he ended up being gay.
Right.
So I don't know, like, but then
is that the world imposed on him that he's now reacted to?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't understand. Was he gay, or did people like me and everyone else thinking he was gay? But then there was another thing, is I know that his mother always wanted a girl, so I don't know if that ends up. Do you know what I mean? There's so many freaking like pounds thing going here. So I started speaking early, and I kind of like faded out, and I had a bit of a difficulty articulating what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of this. And there's another thing I wanted to say, which is that in the break, I really wanted there to be a solution for this discussion. So what I Googled is, you know, in politics, you can do a test that gives you a chart of like how left, right, and everything you are. I typed it on Google, quiz to understand your beliefs on gender and sexuality. And all I got back was a load of quizzes to understand if I was gay. I was like, no, it's not what I want. So if anyone knows a quiz where you can understand your beliefs or your views on sexuality and gender, it would be a freaking valuable tool right now. And it would help discussion in the space, because I think discussion in this space is a very interesting thing, because I tried earlier talking about how the LGBT movement is great, everything like that. But there is one side to it, which I've seen, which has a cultish element, which probably comes through self-defense, in the sense of like, 50 years ago, you couldn't be a gay person. 50 years ago, you couldn't be this, that, and the other. And now we can. So the second anyone says anything about it, if you look at Twitter, if you look at YouTube, like, I don't know if it's the algorithms or something like that, but at least once a week, I will see something where someone has said something that isn't in trending with the woke ways of the world. And the reaction from the LGBT community is an uproar. Yeah. And there's another, like the podcast I mentioned to you earlier. Yeah. the comments in that podcast on the YouTube were like, you just invited the Peep Show people onto a podcast for an hour to bait them in so that you could discuss a tweet that's relevant to you and your family 3 years ago. And I think we need to put this podcast in the description so people can experience what it was really like here. But I feel like the guy arranging that podcast knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he wanted from that podcast.
Yeah.
And it was to challenge the norms that didn't quite suit the way he wanted to view the world.
Yeah. And
I feel like in this woke world where we are being accepting of everyone, as I say, fucking a lamppost. And I'm not saying it's not as weird as fucking a lamppost. You can be gay. I don't think they're weird things, but I'm just saying there are some weird fetishes out there. And it's fine. The normal or less normal, even though everything's on the same scale of normal or not normal, is all good. But there is this just almost a toxic self-defense around it.
Yeah.
Whereby... And another thing that I've seen is I've also seen a lot of women, and there was someone sharing it on my Instagram that I mentioned to you about, talking about how, like, even recently I see things from the NHS saying pregnant people, not pregnant women.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And it's just like, and women are kind of just like, well, I understand openness, but in openness, there needs to be a celebration of everyone. And if a man wants to be a woman, then perhaps they need to be like, maybe they should make their own thing. I want to be a woman 2.0. Yeah.
No, that would belittle women.
Oh no, well, yeah, yeah, exactly. I want to be a woman. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
There's
woman with a capital M.
There's something you're doing
M.
there. Like if I'm a man, so imagine this, yeah. I'm a man who wants to be a woman.
But
I still like women, okay? And I want to go for a piss in the ladies' toilets. Yeah? I don't have a dick anymore. That's gone. I'm still into women, and I want to go for a wee in the ladies' toilets. There's all the ladies' chatter. We're at a nightclub. We're doing our makeup. We're arranging our cleavage. Doing all these things. Not that that's what girls have to do.
The same sort of question about lesbians, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. You can flip this conversation in every direction, okay?
Right.
Like,
what's your point?
It's just a bit like you're infringing on the space of another sexuality to celebrate your own sexuality. You're of another gender,
right? Yeah,
celebrate your own gender. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like the whole J.K. Rowling thing. Like, I think she said something like about people who menstruate. Like, we used to have a word for that. Like, women who menstruate. Yeah. And like, I kind of like. There's a lot of uproar about it, and I feel like the noise that is caused from the LGBT space...
Well, that's all it is, though.
Yeah, but it isn't... There's no equal reaction. There's no equal reaction from the normal community. Like, not normal community, Jesus. From everyone else. Do you know what I mean? God, you just can't...
Dangerous waters in it, my landmines everywhere.
It's just... it's a fucking maze out here. Episode 16, fuck me. When Psytrans said... Is it a taboo topic to talk about? It's not a taboo, mate. But thanks a lot. You put us in a fucking minefield right here. Like, I've lost 5 legs already. I don't know what's going to be left of me. Do you know what I mean? It's just really difficult.
There is a backlash that's growing day by day. It's evident more on TikTok, where this whole tribalism culture is like booming at the moment.
TikTok has completely skipped me.
Don't get into it. All I see now on TikTok,
we have a TikTok, don't we?
We do, yeah.
I might send me the logins, so at least, and I want to just follow whatever you can. You follow?
I don't follow. So
can you watch things from our TikTok so I can get a slight microcosmic experience?
Sure. Okay.
I might even break away into it. You never know, but I might be the top #1 TikToker that just hasn't done it yet.
Could be.
Watch out, guys.
There's a lot at the moment from young feminists on there that don't really understand what feminism means. It's like a vastly misinterpreted. It's basically just man-hating on there. There's been a lot of like accusations towards heterosexual males. Just a shitload of man-hating at the moment. And the guys, the best thing about it is there has actually been a lot of women that have become popular on TikTok because they're on the men's side. And they're like, fighting for the man's voice, because we don't fight, men don't generally, we avoid conflict. I would say the majority of men would avoid conflict against a female where possible. I guess a few of us would be well up for conflict between another bloke. Like, yeah, that's all right, because we know that it's just friendly banter. It may end up in a tussle, but at the end of it, we got a bit of adrenaline out of it, and we had a good time, whatever. But we generally avoid conflict with a female. I don't know why. It's just the way we are. And so females have sort of been backing men's side on TikTok, and there has been. So the recent things that a recent piece of accusation was against men was from the trans community, which was so there's a few stories about trans women. So these are born as male people that transitioned into being a female human being, and they went out on dates with men. They're fully, they've had the full works done. They've got no dick left. They're essentially a female in the male gaze, right? And then after all's said and done, they're resting in their bed, having a glass of water. I always need a glass of water afterwards. Don't know about you. And the trans person says, "Oh, by the way, I'm trans," to this guy. And what the trans people are saying is that they always get weird reactions, like almost disgust from the heterosexual male, thinking that, oh, I've just had sex with a trans person.
Wait, how did he... What?
Well, I didn't know. They've been fully done.
I'll be entirely honest with you right there.
I think I would notice.
In the first 30 seconds of what you're saying, I was messaging the Lucy person that I wanted to get on the podcast to try and help us navigate this minefield.
Yeah.
And I came back to you explaining that someone has sex with a girl that's a man, and then the man, instead of like maybe a few weeks later, like dropping a text, like, oh, I'm a.
Well, it could be. It could be a couple of weeks. It could be whenever it was. That's whatever the story is. But that's the
when you just notice straight away.
Well, I don't know. That's just what the stories are. I don't know. I think I would notice straight away.
Dude,
I think maybe
this is another thing. Is I don't understand how they do the magic that they do.
I know.
I'm really curious.
I'm pretty sure that the feeling would be very different.
I was imagining like how they make it is they.
Yeah, no, I don't want to hear it. No, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about how it's done. It freaks me the fuck out. It makes me hold my dick. No, just leave it. Just stop.
Play-Doh.
Right?
Play-Doh.
And
yeah, all right. Anyway, so that he was complaining that he gets or she was complaining that she gets the reaction that's negative.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there was a load of man hate saying, well, it's just a female. What's the difference?
There are men in the world who love that shit.
There are. Go fucking find those guys. Go find those guys.
Maybe porn websites need to start sharing the internet history so that people can just find what they want.
Right. But anyway, I digress. I don't know where I was going. There's just chaos on TikTok at the moment, and
yeah. No, but what were you saying about that? So
no, that was it. That was it.
They were upset with the fact that people were upset with that.
They were upset with the fact that they couldn't accept people's sexuality when we have been very accepting of their sexuality and their gentrification of the world, and now they can't accept that people are heterosexual.
Here's the thing.
So what happened was...
I've got it.
Let me tell you. Let me just tell you the finish.
Bastard.
This is where I was going.
Go on.
Anyway, so this guy did a TikTok and he said, I now identify as super straight. And it caused fucking chaos on TikTok. All the guys were backing it, saying, "Yeah, I'm so fucking super straight." And there's this thing on TikTok where
super straight, pussy only, from
the woke fucking world, like the woke generation, that go fucking just go away. You're not even awake. You're consciously unaware of what's going on in the world. You say you're woke, but all you're doing is following trends and vouching for a side that you don't even understand. So just fuck off and do your own research, right?
Anyway, Woody going deep,
right? I am a part of the fucking super woke nation, whatever you want to fucking call it. I question things. I research the real wokers, right? All these fucking young kids born in the year 2000 and 2010.
Oh, these kids.
They're not just fuck off.
We used to be those kids.
We used to be. And now I think...
So we didn't end up this fucked up.
We didn't end up this fucked up. And what I really hope happens in 10 years' time, when these kids, and I'm calling them kids because they're fucking idiots, is when they get to our age and they're in real work and they've got responsibilities, I would love to see what their opinions are then. Because I can guarantee they're not the same as what they believe in now.
They got too much time on the internet. So one thing that was interesting to me when you said all of that is, so they're concerned at the point of after sex saying, actually, I'm not the gender you thought I was. And then they get upset at the reaction. Okay. If you care about the reaction, wouldn't it be like, right, so you meet a guy at the bar, okay? You're a girl, but you used to be a guy.
Okay.
Start talking, having some drinks.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this guy likes me. Like, oh, great. This could really go somewhere. Maybe we could go back to mine, and maybe beyond that, we might get married. This is great.
Yeah.
But I really care about him knowing that I used to be a girl.
Used to be a guy.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that I used to be a guy. Yeah,
landmines.
Landmine. Boom! There you go, I've lost a fucking eyebrow on that one. That was a little one, just an eyebrow. It will grow back. So if you care about the reaction that much and it upsets you after the first fuck, like, if you're that tragically upset, why don't you just, like, maybe forget the fuck for now. Just be like, by the way, I used to be this. You still good? You still good? You still want some of this? Because you liked me a second ago. You give me the eye.
Yeah.
And then, like, yeah, you're right. 9 out of 10 guys will be like, I mean, let's have a drink. Let's chat. Let's find out about that. I'm not really... This isn't going to be going specifically to the bedroom.
But I'm interested.
I'm interested to chat. I'm not going to be a dickhead.
Yeah.
And there might be 3 or 4 dickheads who are like, oh, fuck that. They might pour a drink over you, whatever. We still live in a world where we're transitioning into this open-minded space. Okay?
Right.
But you've got to be able to roll with the punches, surely. You've got to be able to take that. And you're not going to find the true love that you really want. It's almost like, this is what I'm saying about the guy who invited the guy on the podcast. Like, he basically he baited it into conflict.
Yeah.
To the point, I'm so upset. They didn't understand me. Of course they don't understand you, because you didn't tell them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just like if I got back to a room with someone who wasn't sexual. No. Let me go.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
If I got back to a room that nothing to do with sexuality, back in the uni days, had a few drinks, going home with a girl, get back into the bedroom, whips out a strap on. Not even that. Doesn't even whip it in. Just not even whipped out. She's gone straight in with it. Whoa,
Jesus.
Why didn't you just tell me this at the bar?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could have understood a bit more about it. Maybe you could have built me up to it. You know, I could have had a good time.
Yeah.
But
and on his chat of 5 more drinks, you might have had me.
yeah.
But the fact you've just gone and done it, fuck this. Where's the university rape line?
Yeah, exactly.
Beep, 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 beep. I'll call them up. I said, I've been raped by a girl. And they'd be like, no, you haven't. Rape's only men. Yeah. That's it. Cheers, boys. That's the sexuality. That's what we're going to end on. Rape is only for men.
That's right.
Let's digress. I think we're going to cover sexuality again. I think we need more guests to cover this. There's a little bit of feedback from Vicky that we had on one topic as well, and then we're going to digress into the second topic that we wanted to cover that was raised by a community supporter of ours. He's bought the t-shirts. He's got the mugs. He's got all of the merchandise, and that's why we're talking about his topics. So if you want to have your topics to talk about, drop us a comment, give us a subscribe, and pop into the Discord. So Vicky had some feedback on the podcast where we talked about makeup in the workplace. Now, I kind of said to Vicky at the podcast that I think...
At the pub,
yeah. I think that I specifically... Well, we talked about this topic mainly because of my concern of how to raise a girl in this current media hypocrisy world that we live in.
Okay. 22.
Because she said that she was had differences about makeup in the workplace, and I kind of thought to myself, well, I mean, I wasn't that. I feel like that side of the discussion came a little bit from you. I think I embellished on it with some humour, but I think mainly you kind of spoke about it. I haven't had time to go back and listen to it, so I might be a complete hypocrite. And I started the podcast by saying makeup in the workplace, fucking bullshit.
No, I think I think I did bring it up.
I think you kind of did, yeah. And what she said is kind of a level field as to where I am on makeup in the workplace. Like, I think it's a difficult world to be in, yeah, as a girl. And that's my main struggle. And so you're going to have to give me a few minutes to get this out, because I did revert to that. I did respond to her as well. So she said, and she does love listening to the podcast, but it's good to have an opinion. She doesn't have to agree with us. None of you have to agree with us. If you've got something to say, fucking say it, because we only want to learn more. This is a joint discussion. We don't know how the world is. We answered the relationship boat, but we're not going to answer everything. So what she said is that she sees it differently to how we see it. And if she was to go to the office and to not wear makeup, people would probably come up to her and say, "Are you okay?" Because a girl without makeup, and she didn't say this, but I can insinuate what she's saying is that, like, a girl without makeup almost looks like they're run down, like they're ill, like they're not with it today, like they've just had enough, yeah. And I think my response to that is, but I think that is very much the problem I'm trying to get at, is that, you know, as a man, I wake up, I take a piss, or a shit, whatever's happening on that day. I have my breakfast. I might have a bogey and I pick my nose and wipe on a tissue, get rid of that.
Best feeling ever.
I'm the same when I wake up, when I go to sleep. I'm the same man, and there's no expectation from me to be any different. And how lucky I am to be a man, to have that experience. Sometimes, like in Sainsbury's the other day, I saw a woman who she must have been 45 going 50, 55, yeah? She's walking in this dress and high heels, and I mean high heels, yeah? And it's the middle of the day, and I'm thinking, COVID, like, what are you doing? You're not going to the pub. This must be for work. I was like... And she was like, not wobbling on them. Obviously, you're 45 years old. You've been walking on heels for 20, 30 years. You're a pro at this. You can walk on heels better than I can do most things in the world, yeah?
Yeah.
But I just wondered, like, it's a visual embodiment of the pressure that conforms women to do these things. But the interesting thing is there is an idea, when you actually speak to a woman to understand it, or a girl, is that they want to do it because, as they say, you know, you're not feeling well today. You're not wearing makeup, or on a night out, you're not dressed up. Like, what's wrong? Like, what's going on here? And there are all these rules. Another thing that was interesting that she said to me is there's like this unwritten rule within women, which is that if you have your boobs out, you shouldn't have your bum out, or vice versa. Yeah, so you shouldn't have like a short dress with your tits out. It's a no-go. There's this unwritten rule. I didn't even fucking know about this, and I think it's like amazing the things I don't know. So I need to quiz her more on this.
Yeah.
But just on the same level that we have just discussed gender and sexuality and said how it's a landmine and a maze, I feel like from the second a girl wakes up out of bed, like that maze has already begun. Especially when they're going to school, especially when they're going to university, especially where they're going to work. There are all these things.
I guess this was kind of my point, though, is the fact that these enhancements to life exist, of course, is going to stimulate or be the stimulus of the response of, or the catalyst to the response of, are you feeling okay? Like, if everybody is looking their best every single day, if those enhancements exist, then of course, if you don't have those enhancements on one day, that's an oddity, and therefore people will ask, are you okay? Yeah. Now, I would like to challenge a female to not wear makeup in the workplace from the start of their job and never wear makeup when they go in. Now, I could guarantee that there'll be a few days, like the first couple of days, where people see you and they go, they're getting to know you. They're not going to ask you the question, like, are you all right?
Yeah, that's just who you are.
They don't know any different from you.
Yeah. Right? It's like if I went into the office wearing like a Joker mask, like not the makeup, but like a mask that was of a Joker, they'd be like, oh, he wears a Joker mask every day. But if I didn't wear that Joker mask, I would just be like Tim.
Different, but
yeah, a bit of a push there. Really trying here to get on the same level.
But I think
they'd associate your face. It is quite a thing though. Like when I think of you right now, there's a picture in my head that exists. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And you can choose what that picture is from day one.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is one thing I want to caveat this with, right? Which is like, okay, Tim and Woody, it's all very well for you to sit there and to say that, like, if girls didn't have this maze field to navigate, they could alleviate themselves from all that problem. Just step out of it, yeah?
Mm.
But the fact remains, the world won't change.
It won't if they keep wearing it.
No. That's not correct. Let's take Vicky, for example. If we can convince Vicky to not go to work for the next week and to not wear makeup and to step outside of that, yeah? No. So her single experience, her colleagues would get used to her not wearing makeup and would not expose her to questions like that. She would start to eventually feel like this is normal for me. Yeah. But the world around her will still have that expectation. So when she gets onto the train after work, she is now the girl on the train who doesn't have makeup. Yeah? Amongst the other girls who do have makeup, which of course, from our liberal point of view, that's fine because Vicky can feel beautiful in herself and she doesn't need that.
Yeah.
She might read a book and it not even matter, but it does change the dynamics for the other girls. It does change the dynamics for the men on the train. It does change the dynamics in general. And you can't just say, well, it's a very easy thing, isn't it, to just say, well, don't wear makeup because then it will solve it. But we don't live in a world where we can change things like that. If we
this
could,
is my question
then great.
Back to you is why are you being there's two things that I want to say here. One of them is, if I'm Vicky and I'm sitting on the train, why do I even care what people like? Why am I even putting myself in a situation where I'm thinking, oh, what are they thinking about me? Like, I don't know if Brad and Vicky are engaged yet.
Let me answer it. Yeah, I know she's not looking for another man. I know that.
She's not looking. She's got everything she needs.
Yeah, She's got everything she needs, okay?
Everything she wants. Like
You said earlier on this podcast that people are defined by the world they're around. Not people, but you know what I'm saying? That sort of narrative,
right.
okay? Now, Vicky, just like any other girl, has grown up in a world where these expectations are made of women.
By who?
By everyone.
Who?
Every single one. Even you.
No, not me.
Yes. Yeah, you.
Who?
Bullshit.
What do you mean?
If you're in a club on a night out, yeah, okay, yeah. Regardless of what you will say
I
right now,
wouldn't be looking at females.
No. I know you wouldn't be looking at females, but there would have been a time when you were younger. I know you're woke now and you have all of these things or whatever, okay? And maybe you're just outside of this and you have your own sexuality that's makeup free, yeah? But, like, it's just.
But this is my point.
It is the fabric of what we are made up by.
This is my point. Why do people care so much about what they are, how they're being presented in the world? I don't give a shit. Why do other people care?
Why do you wear jeans sometimes?
Because they're comfortable. I don't wear jeans.
No, they're not. You do. When we go to the pub, you don't wear tracksuit bottoms.
I didn't. Well, you can ask Tom. But what I've been turning up to recently is what you could see. If I turned on my camera right now, I've got
all right.
joggers on.
If we had that same group with 6 girls coming,
I would still wear the same shit.
You'd be wearing joggers.
I would be wearing joggers that have got paint all over them that I haven't taken off in about 2 weeks. The same jumper that I've been wearing for 2 weeks. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, all right, okay. I know what you're saying, but all right, okay. So
the reason why I wear jeans is because my stuff stinks so much that I need to get a fresh pair of something to put on my legs to cover up. That's the only reason.
I hate wearing jeans. I do wear jeans when I have I went to my mum's house earlier. And I wore jeans. And I fucking hate it. The way the button presses into my gut when I drive over there and stuff like that. I don't even have a gut. My stomach is as flat as any Instagram model wants it to be, yeah? But the jeans are just so uncomfortable when I sit down, digging into me. I've got to the point now, I got into my mum's house and we were walking around, and I was suddenly oh shit, I need to actually do my buttons up in my trousers. Because I've just stopped buttoning my trousers up. But I don't want to push too much. We can't push too much on you, Woody, because you are doing a podcast that is about answering questions in life, yeah? You are not everyone. We consider ourselves, we say we are lucky to know people like each other where we can have these discussions, okay? We live in a town in Brentwood, in Essex, okay? If anyone wants to know where we live, watch The Only Way is Essex, and that will give you a taste of where we live. The people around us are not akin to us. So why should someone... God, Vicky, forgive me, all right? I think we need to call you something else because we're just using Vicky as the name of any female who could be in this situation, all right? But why would someone, as I say, at work, she can set the own politics that she wants for how she looks and everything like that.
Right.
As soon as she gets on the train home and she goes to Shenfield Station and everything like that, okay, unless she is someone who wants to be like us and doesn't want to care about all of these things, which is... now we're at this point, myself and you, I think it's beautiful to be one of those people, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's much more difficult for a woman to get to that point than it is for a man, simply because they have grown up in a world where this maze is presented before them, where every day before school, they sit in front of the mirror and do makeup to make sure they're not ridiculed by the other girls, they're not shouted at by,
So this is my point.
And it is the problem. I'm not saying it's the solution.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that you can't vindicate the individual for participating in the problem when the problem itself is bigger than the individual.
I can.
Do you know what? Vicky, right now, I'm representing you. I hope I am. And I want you to come on. You don't have to do a whole podcast with us, but if you could do 20 minutes just to try and get this across, because I back you, girl.
I guess, I want to support that idea.
It's so difficult talking about this after rum. Jesus.
As much as I would like to support that idea, I would strongly, I really want to challenge the idea that, I really want to challenge that, just the whole idea of it, which is beauty isn't the face you put on. It's the confidence that you present in yourself. For me, anyway, that's how it is. I would say a lot of men would agree with me on that. If I saw a confident young woman who is being herself, she's,
But there's more to makeup than trying to conform to beauty. That's what we don't understand.
It's not that. You've totally misinterpreted that. It's the makeup gives them the confidence that they didn't have, which represents the beauty, right? Mm-hmm. But it's a facade.
Yeah.
Okay.
But why don't they have the confidence? Because they've been brought up in a world where confidence, the picture of confidence
is the facade for them.
Is portrayed through makeup and the facade. They've been directed towards the facade. So how can they live a life where it's like, oh, I'm going to be an organic tomato that's grown in an organic field, and you're going to appreciate my taste, when the whole world wants sugared tomatoes, and they've grown up.
But this is what I'm trying. This is what I'm trying to challenge.
I know.
If you let me finish.
I can't.
I would love to be able to guarantee that most men would say, if they were given two options,
or women.
No, men. I'm talking about men here, heterosexual men, right? That it's what I'm trying to say is it's not men's fault. This isn't.
I'm not saying it is either. I think it's. Yeah, I want you to get your full thing out.
Right. Men, I think, it's a huge assumption here, but I think some men, and I would put a lot of men into this category, not all men, but some men find beauty in confidence, not necessarily the way somebody looks. I think females are the same. Females find beauty in confidence of a male, not necessarily the way they look. It's them being confident and them being constant in who they represent themselves to be. Right? Now, what makeup does, in my opinion, is puts on a facade where that person can be confident, knowing that they are behind a mask that isn't them. My challenge to all females is, and every female has to partake in this, otherwise it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Take that mask off.
100%.
Take that mask off, be confident in who you are, and I can guarantee the results after 1 month, everything will be exactly the same as it is today, just without the makeup.
I have to go, okay? So, 100%. I think the main frustration me discussing this with you is that I stand on your side of the fence, okay? But we just have to repeat that sentence. My challenge to you, to 100% of women, is to take that mask off and to find that confidence, yeah?
Yeah.
However, how can we tell one person, to do that? How can we say, because we know when we say all women,
Vicky, for me, represents the best person to do this trial on.
Oh, no, 100%. I know that Vicky has the everything, the guts so to perform this act.
Yeah.
But the world doesn't. And that's the sadness that we, when discussing this, have to appreciate, because there will be many girls who want the same thing, but they live in a world where they can't, because even if they are to be the one, I'm going to be the one who makes a difference. After a year, after 2 years, when you don't see that difference and you're lagging behind in the race, you go for a
What
night
race?
out. No. You're the single girl, and you're as confident as you can be. But
I can
when you
guarantee
go on a night out,
all of the single guys will be coming to you.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
All right, okay, they might get that, but
now they're on top.
Yeah.
And they're not behind a fucking mask.
Look at me without my makeup. Yeah, okay. Like I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, I get what you're saying, all right? But I empathize massively I don't think that growing up as a man and a girl a boy and a girl is the same. I don't know if that's just because I've had a girl as a kid. I don't know, and I'm scared about it.
Let's go into this.
Wait, no, we can't because I need a wee.
Okay, so do I.
Time to gather your thoughts on the toilet. Yeah. I sit, he stands. I don't know what he's doing. Hello? Oh, God. He's not back yet. This is a tricky one. I feel like I'm on the same side as what Woody's saying, but I feel like at some side of it, I feel like I want to understand the female side of it, the male gaze, what it is to be a female. I just have this overwhelming feeling that it's really difficult to be a female, and I can't quite shake that. So I do also think there's merit to what Woody says in the sense that you could spend time not wearing makeup. Like if you're single out there and you're thinking of finding a guy or something like that, you could not wear makeup and you could find confidence within yourself out of just finding out, like, people seeing you naturally as you are. And even through doing that, you might end up with a better mate or a better, when you're fishing in the waters, you might find better fish that return to you because they see you for who you are and they appreciate who you are. And that might be a really brilliant journey to go on to start to identify more with yourself. But even as I'm saying it, I have this feeling of, like, magazines, TV ads, everything. I'm going to have to...
Put that Tim show on the pause.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. Even then, I was trying to back your idea. I just spoke about how I really resonate with what you said about how if people stripped things back and found their confidence within their natural self, they would get to a point where...
Look,
I think they'd massively benefit from that.
Massively. Now,
but I just think that the wars, the infighting within females, and the rules and the regs and the balances and the checks and the...
It's a difficult world. I completely agree. But what... I guess I haven't said this, and what I want any females that wear makeup because they think it's because of those reasons that you've said, what I want to convey to them is that it's not that I want to single the ugly girls out. That's not what I want to do. What I want to do is I want you to have the confidence in who you are. That is you. I want you to stop putting on makeup that's making your skin irritable and just like bad. It's just like bad for your skin, bad for your eyes with the eyeliner, bad for your eyelashes with the eyelashes, with the glue on the eyelashes. Every time you pull those off, an eyelash comes out, one of your natural eyelashes.
Yeah,
take a fucking break from it. Let your body fucking get back to normal. I can guarantee your eyelashes will grow longer. I can guarantee your skin will clear up. You'll be fucking glowing.
Yeah, especially when you start to actually find out, like, so there's another thing to this, is like your body probably, like, it hides behind all of that, so your body's not trying to, so your body there must be a DNA, like, hormonal thing, whatever, within your body that wants to actually exuberate, like, sexuality and to look a certain way, whatever DNA is saying that is these days. And by wearing a shitload of makeup and everything like that, I guess your body's like, well, I don't need to do this anymore. Right. But also your personality is like that. So I massively get with that. And there's another thing that I was trying to say earlier, which is that, if you keep wearing makeup and everything like that, and you keep going out and dressing yourself up as something you're not, and not really finding that groove, then you might end up fishing in the waters and not really getting back what you want.
And the worst...
If you don't wear makeup for a long time. You might fish in the waters and actually get people who see you for what you really are and to enjoy that. But my caveat to this is there will be a lot of girls who wearing makeup just as... So you like tinkering with music, yeah? I'm a girl and I love dressing up in makeup, doing my hair, straightening it out, and looking amazing. It makes me feel amazing, and it brings out a confidence in me, just like the confidence a shy girl might have not wearing makeup and being her true self. I feel like this now is my true self, just like a child might end up not being born gay, but they might end up through the world becoming gay and feeling like they want to be gay and being gay. There might be girls who grow up feeling like they want to wear makeup and they love wearing makeup. And I really think that as much as it's a bad thing, I guess the thing me and you really want is we just want people to be their true selves. We don't want to ban makeup. I don't think that's what you're saying here.
No, I'm not saying that.
I don't think that's how you feel. And I think a lot of how you can talk, just because
sounds like
we're talking about it, can sound like that.
Yeah.
So I think there is an importance here, which there is a balance. And obviously, you have to realize if you are wearing makeup, that has effects on other girls. You don't have to care about it as much as you care about your own feelings, because you are yourself. But I guess what we really want here, what we really desire at the end of this conversation to solve it, which I think we might agree on, is that we just want people to be themselves and to not do something because the world around, not to conform to the world because you have to.
Or you feel you have to.
Find that spot for you. Find that groove. And if that groove is this, that, or the other, then fine. If it's fucking lampposts, fine. If it's wearing a shitload of makeup that's like 3 inches deep, it's like I could literally write in the sand and carve my name in it, then fine. But let's be careful. It's like...
Yeah.
Just be careful like we fucking did trying to talk about this. It's fucking difficult, I'm telling you.
I agree with that.
And as I say, I think this massively highlights something in this podcast, which is we consider ourselves these brilliant individuals who are questioning life and everything like that. But fuck, I do realise that there's an element of experience that is important to these conversations.
Yeah.
And that is why I really think that some people who listen to us might not want to be on the podcast for a full podcast. But if you can spare 10 minutes to just try and tell us how you feel, and we might go at you, we might try and poke holes in it, but we only want to poke holes in it to try and...
For the sake of learning.
Learn ourselves, teach you something, teach each other something, and ultimately further the human species and all that jazz. Now, it sounded like I was ending it, but I'm not.
No.
Because we have another topic to go into, which is a much more jovial one. There are some sour elements to it. But the old topic, I'll have to get the comment up, actually, because it was a lovely comment that was left. If you've got anything to say, Woody, now would be
there was something that I wanted to say. The conversation is now kind of closed naturally.
Open that can of worms.
So I don't necessarily want you to comment on it. What I want you to think about is how comfortable will you be when Miyako is 16 and she wants to wear makeup because she feels she has to.
She wants it now.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying is half the problem.
Right.
She's beautiful in every sense of the world.
Now, for me, when I have children, it will be a case of making them go through the tough times of school, of not wearing makeup, which may make them rebellious. But I know
when they come out, they'll
ultimately,
yeah.
When they come out and they're at university, they're happy with who they are. There will be the most beautiful person in that group of girls because they're confident who they are.
That is so interesting, just to think about that, because I feel like I'm not going to be able to do that with because I'd say that I'm 60% on your side in that discussion. If I could, it almost sounds like take that away from Miyako, but to take the idea of makeup and all this shit away, like, all right, you're not having a smartphone, you're not having makeup, all this crap, yeah. Bread and water, find your personality, and then at the end of it, I'll give, like, you can have the world signed back to you.
Yeah.
But through that journey, all I want you to find is an understanding of yourself and to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, if you can find, like, if you can build your house, I'll let you put whatever furniture in it you want, and you can do whatever you want with that house.
Yeah.
But don't
let other people build your house. Don't let other people design how you're going to build your house.
Design your house, because you're going to have to live with it for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Oh, look at that. I think we just came out with 2 turntables from that discussion right there. That was I'm really happy you said that, because that's made me jump more onto your side. I felt like I've had to. So that's the best thing. Is normally when I go on YouTube after the football's happened, I see the score on the dashboard.
You haven't seen it today?
No, I probably have, but I've had so much to drink that
it's just a blur.
I don't know exactly.
Brilliant. It could have been 5-0. It could have been 1-0. You don't know.
I know. My mind's not even resonating. And with that, I have one of the most brilliant comments we've had, which is I love this comment because it's an appreciation of ourselves, and who doesn't like to suck one's own dick? Tim and Ed/Woody, I have a topic of discussion for you guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the topic of friendship. A deep dive if possible. We'll see what we can do. You guys have such great chemistry. We do. Is it that you two just have a similar vibe with others in your circles? I'd really like to hear your takes on building relationships from scratch in the modern era, and the different classifications of friends, and most importantly, ending friendships. Now, there is one thing I have to say here, is that he has actually asked a few different questions.
Yeah, there's a lot to unravel there, yeah.
So I think the first thing, I think we've dabbled a bit at this a little bit. We talked about our friendship a bit before, of how...
I think the interesting one is the first one he asked, which is, how are we with our friends?
Yeah.
Are we the same?
Yeah, you have such a great chemistry. Is it you to have a similar vibe with others in your circles? So let me shoot first, okay?
Sure.
As always in this podcast. Tim will talk a lot. So I guess one thing is like, one thing I've always felt, I think friends and family are quite a similar thing. So I've always felt like in my family, the wavelengths that I send out into the world of this questioning and sort of just trying to perpetuate thought and to not just assume things and live in the normal sort of narrative, okay, has been a struggle for me, because I've often felt like, even today, there was a time when I was talking about how at the moment I'm trying not to drink cow's milk, okay, which I know you have your own views on, Woody, but I was trying to talk about the reasons why I'm doing it and all these things, yeah. And like I mentioned the fact that cow's milk has like chemicals in it that are meant for a baby calf, to grow into a full-born cow, which has a shitload of like steroids for the bone to grow, and all of these things, right? It's not the best example, because I might not even be right in this. I don't know much about the whole vegetarian sort of vibe. I used to laugh at it 5 years ago, but now I'm kind of considering it, okay? But,
be careful.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But not to go into that topic, but I guess what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of times where I've tried to question things, like even things like Bitcoin. Like I used to laugh about that a lot, and not laugh about that, I used to talk about that a lot, and everyone would kind of laugh at me, sort of laugh it up like I'm the kind of odd one in the family. And I've kind of liked enjoying like assuming that role in the way. Like I've kind of been fine with it at the time.
Yeah. But
there are times where it's kind of been like, at the end of the conversation, I'm left with this kind of sour taste. Well, like, do you understand me? Like, can I not actually say how I feel?
Yeah.
Without being
judged,
undermined and not one of you. Like, do I just have to conform and say, like, yeah, this is life?
Yeah.
We buy a car, we get a job, we live it, and we die. Like, am I not allowed to try and challenge for more? Is there something wrong with me for that? Now, to go into friendships, I think one of the things me and Woody and a friend of his, Tom, once said when we were at the pub recently is, especially in the area that we live in, because we live in an area that is very Dolce Gabbana and, trend setting and all this stuff, yeah? Very social media, all that stuff, yeah? Be an influencer. I think we've always kind of felt like, not that we're odd ones out, but the popular people were the Dolce Gabbana lovers.
Mm.
But it's not to say that there wasn't niches to be found where not necessarily everyone was thought-provoking and must be on a podcast discussing like we are, but there were people who...
There were other black sheep.
Yeah, who were just happy to chat shit.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was playing Call of Duty and not buying Dolce Gabbana bags or whatever, you know, there's just stuff to do. And I think that the most difficult thing I've come to realize in this world is that, and this goes back to the question, is building relationships from scratch in the modern era. I wonder how difficult it is to find a friend that you didn't go to school with or that you weren't pushed into a circle with. As in, I want you to go to Sainsbury's and meet someone in the aisle, strike up conversation with them, and become friends.
Mm. Now, that is a very specific scenario that you've given.
Yeah, obviously that's not the level, but do you see what I'm saying? Like outside of these institutions, where do you become friends with people? At work? Where else are you becoming friends? Because you have to have a level of exposure to become a friend.
Right.
Who was the last person you made friends with, Woody? Who was the last person who is your new friend? I'd think it's probably one of Liza's friends. Would that be right?
Probably, yeah. I would say...
But she probably went to school with him. Or it's her family member. You see what I'm saying? He said building relationships from scratch in the modern era. And I wonder if what he's questioning there is, what is building a relationship from scratch? Can humans be friends in the modern era
well, I think
if there's not a circle pulling them together?
Right, so...
That might be the same 100 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've kind of defined how relationships start. I think like all relationships need to start off with some common. All friendships need to start with some common interest. So, like even though school isn't a common interest, you are sort of bound together, forcefully.
You need to be in a room together, in a box together. You need to be put inside of four walls, whether it be physical walls or an interest wall.
My point is that those four walls are either constructed for you or you construct them for yourself. An example would be, so the example in the case where the walls are constructed for you is school, university, your partner, your family. They're the walls around you that have been constructed that kind of push you into those groups, as you say. However, there are situations where you can build those walls for yourself. So a good one might be riding a motorcycle. Like basically all people that ride motorbikes, if you're in a bit of trouble, or even if you're not in a bit of trouble, if another motorbike rides past you, they'll come and have a chat with you.
That's sick. Yeah, that's sick. That
right. There's also like
there's an interesting
watching,
thing
fishing.
there.
There's lots of things for you to construct your own walls.
There are some interests that aren't like that, and that's a separate thing. But like, isn't it beautiful that there are some topics or hobbies where, along with the rules of their sport or whatever there is,
there's a level of empathy.
Like this common understanding that it's like, oh yeah, that guy's our bro.
Yeah.
It's like the bird flapping without a wing. It's like, let's go sort that fucker out. Like, I really love that. I think the biking thing's grown on me since you've said that. It's a true thing.
So, I think you're right, but I also think you're not bound to the institutions that you're laid into. I think there is scope for you to
How would you become friends with if you wanted to be a friend, find a new friend tomorrow? Where's the next? Do you know what I mean?
What would I do?
Well, there are some people who get to this age in life, yeah. So I'm trying to think about this as to why someone might ask this question, maybe. So I went to university and I had loads of friends. University was great, and my friends were what made it. Those friends consist of a Facebook group where we message once every year and pretty much forget to reply to it. Yeah?
Yeah.
I still love them. They're great people, but they're not really my friends, are they?
Right. I think you're sort of delving into something more about his next couple of questions that he asked. I think these two things are very tightly knitted together. Which is
classifications of friends.
Kind of that. I don't think it's too difficult to find people that share interests. I think there are lots of things that people can do, like listening to this podcast, like going fishing, finding a hobby. Maybe it's photography, maybe it's programming, maybe it's whatever it might be. Maybe it's drinking gin. Whatever it is, I'm sure there are people out there that, like, guaranteed there are people out there that have very similar interests and whatever. Interesting discussions to have with people. Now, the difficulty with creating a long-lasting friendship and a meaningful friendship, I think, is down to persistence. So I've got a friend outside of you, Tim. Well, you do know of him. His name's Callum, who he was a friend that I had made where the walls were built for me. This was in college. Now,
I know Callum.
The walls were built for us, but we both happened to choose the same walls. We both chose the same course to go on. We both were probably the best in our class at what we did in that subject. We both shared common interests. We both had the same opinions of people. We both had the same level of intelligence as each other. Sometimes even we would challenge each other. And still today, we still challenge each other's ideas, send each other little bits of songs, show each other what we're working on, have a chat about what we're working on. And I would say it's not as much of a meaningful relationship as mine and yours is, or mine and Tom's is, but it's still very much not someone that I want to let go of. And for me, in order to build, I don't think this has changed throughout time. I don't think the modernness or whatever has changed the way friendships are formed. I think it just fully goes down to finding people that share similar interests and being persistent with that not necessarily persistent, but constant for that person. And them being constant for you.
But that's an interesting thing, is that, like, when you talk about classifications of friends, yeah. So let's roll this back to MySpace, yeah. So MySpace used to have like a top friends, everything like that, and then you had your other friends, yeah.
Yeah.
And whilst we don't have that on Facebook and everything like that, I think that's also quite relevant today. One thing that I always thought growing up, I might have taught this on the last time we spoke about friendship, is I always noticed that my parents or my stepdad, they had, like, when they had friends over every year, they'd have like 3 to 5 different people that I'd expect to come over to the house, yeah? And I used to be like, this is weird. Like, a friend at school, I've got like 20, like, what? You've got so many friends. Like, what the fuck happened to all of yours?
Right.
And then when I grew up, I kind of came to the understanding of, like, well, dude. And sometimes I see my friends these days, like, still trying to maintain circles of like 10 or more friends. I'm like, God, it must be fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think the reality of what you really want from a friend is you want a friend where if you message them, you say, yeah, I want to do this, or even if you just message them, like whatever it be, like they want that back. Like they want to do that as well, and not even for the sense like, I want to play a round of golf. They might not be feeling golf today, yeah, but they still want the friendship alongside that. Like, do you know what I mean? They have a level of whatever. They don't have to go to golf, but they want to be in that pot with you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think a big struggle in friendships is when you have these friendships where they don't want to be in that pot. And there's a lot of friendships where you pretend you're in the pot. Hey, we're in the pot, we're in the pot. But in reality, if we just stopped messaging, if we just stopped whatever and remembering the good old times, our lives would go on.
The pot would run dry.
We're basically perpetuating a facade.
Yeah.
Which is like I say, like, I'm sorry if you're listening to me from my old university days. If you want to start a friendship and jump in the cauldron, let's go to London right now. I'll spend a day with you. It'll be great. If not, let's remember the times when it wasn't facade, and let's just leave it there. Because, like, honestly, I find it difficult keeping up to date with the friendship via Facebook.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to highlight as well, about friendships in the modern world. I think I don't believe that finding a friend on any social media platform or any internet forum is...
I might have to contrast this.
A strong basis. I think you could probably find people and it could be a good friendship. I think the friendship has to move towards something more meaningful outside of social media for it to become something constant.
Probably valid. I did have an interesting experience recently, which is with my chap, Mark, that we've played DayZ with every so often.
Yeah.
So around the time that I got into aquascaping, for everyone listening, I played a game called DayZ, which is like a zombie game where you roam around. Imagine Grand Theft Auto, except for you're in the woods and you can run into different players. Okay. And I met this player in the middle of the woods and we started like, do you want to like run together? Yeah, let's go do shit together, whatever. Okay, let's watch out for zombies together. And halfway through the conversation, I said, we were just chatting about stuff. He's from Sweden, like just chatting about whatever, yeah. And I said, I like aquascaping. And aquascaping is a pretty niche area. Like, I like keeping fish tanks, but aquascaping is like designing like scenic things within tanks. You don't meet everyone who likes to do that. And he was like, shit, I like that too. And we kind of like got this thing going. And to start with, we were playing with each other like every night for like months and months and months, yeah. And it kind of got to like a 3-month period where I was like, fuck, like I just need to chill. Like, I love this guy. And it wasn't that I think it was probably playing the game with him. I didn't need time off from him. I just needed to stop playing the game.
Yeah.
But like recently, about a week ago, we started playing again and we played and then we stopped for a week. And like we didn't have to like play every night. It was a really nice relationship to not have to have this dependency on playing and everything like that, just to like catch up. Like, and I feel like generally, like I want well for him in this world. I think he wants well for me, Miyako, and Claudia in this world. And I think that's a great thing.
Yeah.
And you just have to kind of get to this level point of like the world is the world, and there will always be dependencies. But if you can send a little bit of love, 5% of your love this way, 5% back, then it's all good.
Yeah.
But there is a kind of interesting thing which I wanted to segue into, which is toxic relationships. So, I mean, in the comment he mentions, and most importantly, ending friendships. So
that's difficult.
Ending a friendship is a weird one. I've never
really been assertive in saying I don't want it anymore.
I guess ending a relationship is quite similar to ending a friendship. And I guess they have similar equilibriums. The only difference is you're not going to miss out on sex. Because a friendship, like when you're proper in it, apart from like the fact that obviously me and Woody are mates, like we like girls and everything like that, there's very similar things to it. Like it's a boat, yeah. But I think toxic friendships are something that are very easy to fall into, and well, they're not easy for me to fall into. I never end up in that situation, but I see people in them all the time. So I assume they are easy to fall into.
Okay.
And I really, really struggle with it. Like, massively. Because I've never been in a relationship where I have someone just take. And like, I guess I have people close to me that I see this in, and I really, really struggle with watching it. And I try to advise these people, and it's so difficult to watch.
See,
I don't know if you've seen a similar thing. Like, and the one thing that astounds me is how people can be the taker. Yeah.
I don't know if I have. I think I separated myself very far from those kinds of people that I don't even see the people that are stuck in. I don't even see. I don't see that world anymore.
There's a tremendous amount of people like this. It's really weird, yeah. So we have this like vision of humans and how they are, yeah. There's like this weird 5-10% that exists that just like, whether it's through previous psychological abuse they've had, I don't know, but they just manipulate the fuck out of people. And I just don't like, when you stand here as an outsider with an ample level of IQ and understanding of how the world works and seeing both sides of a different thing and whatever, you look at it and you're just like, well, fuck. Like, how do people not just call you out on your bullshit?
And social hierarchies.
My biggest advice for anyone is that if you find yourself in a relationship where you are
or friendship,
same
thing.
No, actually, more of a friendship than a relationship. Okay, I'd say more of a friendship, because I think sometimes in a relationship, those can be your roles, not toxic, but on the same level. Like, someone can do things more, whatever, like. And sometimes that's fine. Maybe that's what you want for a relationship. It's a kind of different thing in my weird head. But in friendships are things that you sign up for, and like, it's not your boat for life, yeah? So you're participating in this out of not your life dependency, but like a little bit of side effort you want to put into life. But if you're just throwing your effort into a chasm, if you're not getting anything back from that person, my simplest answer on how to end that friendship is, one, call out the stuff that's going on. Say, one, you only text me back when you need something. Two, the last time I saw you, you had half an hour's effort to spend actually spending time with me, and then you wanted to go and do something else with different people.
Yeah.
Three, I've given you birthday presents for the last 4 years. You've never remembered my birthday. 4, like, you only text me when you need something. Yeah? Okay? Call out the stuff. And those aren't the examples that everyone's going to have.
There will be different things, yeah.
There will be different things. But the things that you feel, or the things that someone around you can see, and maybe you couldn't to start with, call them out on it. And the reason you need to call them out is because that's the last contact you're going to have with that person. The next step, block. Block on social media, block on WhatsApp, block on your phone number, completely cancel them out of your life. And the only difference you will feel is that they will disappear. And the only difference you will feel when they disappear is you're not wasting your time on that person. And be careful, because the next thing that's going to happen is there's a stage 5, which is defense. Because as soon as you do these things, what that person will do, who is toxic, is they will realize they have lost one of the utilities that makes them feel valid in the world. Yeah. And they will go to whatever efforts to try and make things right. They'll turn up at your door. They'll send you texts. They'll get a different phone number to send you texts. And what you need to realize is that all of the little things that they're doing are just proving more how they are manipulative and will go to any efforts to change, like to get you back in their side.
Yeah.
And that is not what a friendship is. That is not what a friendship is. A friendship is something where both sides of the party appreciate what is going on. And I can't say there is no clearer message than that, in my opinion.
The difficulty in that is I can see that for some people that could be in a toxic friendship / relationship, whatever it is, may not know where that line starts and ends. How can you... How do you know if you've never experienced a legitimate reciprocal friendship? There may be some things that these toxic people do that make you feel just enough reciprocation that you go,
that is what friendship is. Yeah,
right.
And that's so true, and that's really difficult because a lot of times when I've seen this happen to other people, the only way that they've realized what was happening wasn't through me telling them. I told them.
Yeah.
The way that they realized it is they saw my relationships.
Right. That's right.
And they saw the intrinsic worth of my relationships.
Yeah.
And the things people would do for me or the things I would do for other people, and realizing that I wasn't helping the old lady across the road because a girl was looking. I was helping the old lady across the road because she needed help. Yeah?
Legitimacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one. And if you are in that relationship, how do you compare it to anything like that? You might say, oh, that's very well saying that there's a perfect relationship or friendship out there where it's not the case. But if you haven't experienced it, you have nothing to compare to. Well, fine. Give it a Google. See if other people's relationships can confirm what you feel. See if other people have been in your situation, how they felt about it. How about watch some movies? And I know movies aren't a realistic interpretation of love, but especially romantic comedies and stuff like that, and chick flicks, whatever it is, yeah, a lot of romance on TV is glorified, but it does try to give you a feeling of how love should feel. Go and watch Twilight, yeah? You're not going to be a vampire.
Even Friends, even
Friends teaches a lot of valid things. Yeah. You know what?
Probably why they called it that.
Yeah, and if you watch Friends, and I think there's a sad actually. Here you go. I'll be honest here. Sometimes I watch Friends, and I feel like a vacant void in my life is caused because I don't necessarily feel like I have that group. You have to be careful because those 3 or 5 friends, they're around each other every day. They live in like this university lifestyle where you're always with each other, talking every day about how your lives are and everything like that. Right. That's not real, yeah?
No.
But having each other's back is real.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Having each other's back is real, 100%. And you need to have people in your corner who, if they saw you getting beat up in the street, would do something. Who, if they saw you crying in the street, would do something. Who, if they saw you happy celebrating in the street because you just won the lottery, would fucking celebrate for you. Yeah?
Yeah.
Those are the people you need. If you don't have those people, then ditch the ones you have and don't worry about having no one, because the little friend inside of yourself is enough until you find the right people. You need to find real connection. And that's like when I went to the pub with Brad and Vicky this week, like, since I had Miyako, yeah, you, Brad, and Vicky have experienced that with me. Ollie Carr as well has been there. It's been more difficult for him. He's in London, everything like that. But you are the people who have been in my life and experienced that with me. Not out of my choice, but out of your choice.
Right, yeah.
And that I will always have time for those people because you guys had time for me.
Yeah.
And that's it. Who are the people who will have time for you? Who are the people you have time for? And maybe you're the person listening who you don't have enough time for the people around you. And if you don't, cut them off because you don't want to be the dickhead doing that. Find some friends who you do have the time for, because when you find an organic relationship, the fruits of that will make you happier than anything else you can ever find.
I agree. In the alternate case where, going back to what you said, if you are in toxic relationships, you may not know it, and based on what we've just said, you may now realize it. You can always come over and join our Discord channel. We'll always here. We'll always devote some time to everyone that joins our Discord channel.
We'll be your mate.
We'll be your mate.
Mate.
And as much as like that is a selfish thing for us just to grow ourselves,
I don't think it is, mate. I think it's
we're
like
more than happy to devote our time to.
We've never had a community before.
Exactly.
I've never been a part of an online community that meant shit to me. I don't know about you guys. If you've had a community, like, we all live life as a singular entity. Why not live it as a group?
Exactly.
And with that, thanks for listening. The Just Swim podcast, episode 8, available on Spotify.
16.
What? I said 16.
You said 8.
I said episode 8, didn't I?
Yeah, it's 16, mate.
So
doubled that.
This is the problem here, is that since I've moved away from cider, I've realised that there is a slight difficulty in me articulating what I want to say.
Yeah, you get the same with whiskey after a while. After a few whiskeys, I get that.
I think you're going to have to be, as a mate, if you could just be the barometer to that and just let me know, like, okay.
No, don't worry, I'll be the barometer. Don't worry.
Yeah, you be the barometer.
I'll always keep you on track. Don't worry.
There you go, guys. Friendship. Woody and Tim. Let's have a little virtual hug and let's fucking end the podcast. Ta-da!